smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
And so the Bears are sending their compensatory fourth-round pick to Jacksonville for Nick Foles.
Keeping it 100.
I know we need to run the ball more. I'm not an idiot.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Open competition.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Chicago Bears sweat. Cole Kmet.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. The dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man at Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keeping it 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the freaking anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shayne's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, Phil and Shayne got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and laters. Debaters, stars get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. We're down, boys got you double checking. Sad sacks rolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shayne. 100's what we do when we're breaking down the Bears. Fuck a play or a captain, all of the upstairs. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We analyze so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like Max Sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man and Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Hey, my name's Rashad Whitfield, the Footwork King, and I'm showing my boys Shayne and Phil on the Tape Never Lies Network.
The following show is for mature audiences only. Shy City Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Angelo Joe Marino, and I'm going to be with the Tape Never Lies, and I'm going to be their new hype guy.
Number one priority right now is the quarterback.
Number one, number two, number three. I mean,
you have to move heaven and earth now to establish a foundation of quarterback play that is consistent with winning. It's the one thing you have never done. Cutler sucked as a leader. Devin Hester came out and said it. As Shayne and I were talking on the phone, if God created a quarterback, it would be Jay Cutler.
So we're talking about 3 years in college, and then ever since every offseason since he's been a pro, second year, he gets better and better and better. So he's always been my number one running back in the draft. I was so happy that everybody's kind of getting off the speed factor, start realizing that speed is second to agility when you play running back.
Yep.
And David showcased all that. You can see his balance after contact. You can see how elusive he is. I mean, his grit, his relentless. He used to playing without an O-line. So I know the Bears O-line last year was struggling. It was a lot better this year, but he's able to create. And I mean, when Nagy kept taking him out this year, I was like, Nagy, keep him in, man.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
Again, I've told you about the collaboration, and
he needs to get. He's killing me. Like he needs to put the volume back. The more carries, the better he gets. And once David gets hot, I'm gonna keep operating. Nagy takes him out. I'm like, dude, you don't know.
Listen,
It's frustrating, man. I'm frustrated.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Unreal how this dude. I'm telling you, I trained Le'Veon Bell, I trained Jared McKinnon. I got a lot of running backs to train. David, I'm like, dude, you must got eyes behind your head, bro. How did you know that bag was coming? When I threw a trash can here, kicked the bag there, and then I hit another trash can behind me, and David still pop, took the house out of my field. I'm like, this dude here is unreal. But he's a dual threat running back. Is what I say. You can line up as a receiver. He's too quick for linebackers and way too strong for safeties.
Kansas City or Tampa Bay?
Kansas City Chiefs are going to score first.
Nice.
There you go.
Wait a minute, and I can also tell you this. I'm going to predict the winner. The winner is going to be Brady because Brady is a phenomenal coach, and he makes every team go to the Super Bowl. He's going to win.
Okay.
All right.
Jumping.
It's not a bad. Yeah, it's not a bad pick.
Hey, boys, like my sweatshirt? The tape never lies. That's right. Hey, we getting Carson Wentz? I don't know. I can just tell you this. There's less than a 0% chance that Mitchell Trubisky is back as the Bears quarterback. I hope he goes somewhere and just balls out and plays amazing. Not sure that'll happen. We'll see. We'll see who our Bears get. But how you like my sweatshirt? Isn't that thing sweet? Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Right here, Bearlissimo, our new addition to the brand here, the Tape Never Lies Network. But anyway, he's joining us to break down these Bears. He still has the drive, the love, and the passion for it. Big Steve Edwards.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, how you doing, Coach? What's up, Bill? How you doing?
So happy you're on here tonight.
Yeah, man. I've been listening to you, Coach, for a while. And I'm honored to be able to sit down and chop up some X's and O's with you and Phil.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad to have you on board today.
This is Angelo Joe Marino with a Tape Never Lies. Keeping it 100. 100.
Yo, this is Claudio the Barber, and this is Shy City Sports, keeping it 100. To Wentz or not to Wentz? That is the question, right? That is the question, guys. What are we going to do? So we're going to talk about that and more. We got USA Today's Mark Schofield coming on. Oh, there he is. I went down that rabbit hole with that dude. That was sick. Listen, let's bring on my sources. Shayne, the smartest man, Marsaw, and blog boy, Draft Dr. Phil. What up, bro? What up, guys?
According to my sources, the source.
I thought you used to complain about sources.
There's a source divorce. Yeah. That's all I know.
You like my guy? I had to bring some sophistication to the.
Yes, you're bringing a little Shakespearean, quarterback-arian, Bruce-arian, Super Bowl champion, the GOAT, fucking X's with the O's. We got a bunch of shit going
for
down.
Brady. Can we try to trade for Brady?
We almost had him, Claude.
Yeah.
Almost had him.
Yeah.
What's up with the 100 crew tonight?
They're hot, man. We got 150 people live.
Are we broadcasting on Facebook?
We are now. That's been figured out. Claude hit the wrong button. So
fuck. This guy has not.
I hit the wrong. What button?
Yeah.
You disappeared. We never. Once he got cut it out, he cut it out.
Yeah. See what he does?
He doesn't produce shit.
See what he does?
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I know I will.
That laugh.
The laugh.
Oh, the laugh. That guy.
Angelo Marino, the voice, the hype man. We got a voice. Which
as a
is more
superstar, he's got grew. I got ladies reaching out to me left and right asking if Angelo is single. It's nuts. This kid. He's on
I
fire.
think he's single, right? Is he single?
Yes, he's single, ready to mingle.
That's right.
Ready to mingle. Yeah, he is
True
single.
star.
Our new hype man, making our new draft analyst, Berlissimo, making an appearance in there. And Steve Edwards, if you're not a patron, got to go over there, sign up to the patron channel. This weekend on X's with the O's, we're going to be doing the edge rushers. We're going to be breaking down the edge rushers, and it's going to be a great time. I hope you guys sign up. This last week we had Steve Edwards breaking down offensive guards, and I've seen have you seen the fucking grades? I don't know who's coming up with these grades, Shayne.
No, I'm.
Have you seen them on Instagram? These
yeah.
grades that pop up.
Yeah.
My boy Alberto Valdez from Chicago Bears fans forever.
I used to be a
Chicago Bears fan forever on Facebook. He's been sharing these grades, and I want to know who the fuck is giving these grades out, because these grades are way above the Call of Duty. And I'm not talking about the video game. I just saw Alex Bars got a B.
Yeah.
Sam Mustafa got an A. An A.
I saw a tweet today. A kid said that Charles, which I do believe that they're bringing Charles Leno back, but he said he deserves to be back because he really improved his play this year. So I thought that was special.
What grade did Leno get?
He actually got a B minus or
B
C.
minus, yeah. I think it was a C,
plus,
wasn't it? Yeah.
C plus or B minus. Again, that's way too high. In fact, February 20th, Steve Edwards' birthday.
Happy birthday.
He's going to be live again on the Patreon channel, breaking down the offensive tackles with my father and me. You think that's going to be some fireworks on that show, Shayne?
Oh, man. No, I won't miss that. I might have to sit in the green room for that one and just pop in myself every once in a while.
We're going to go over the offensive tackle play. And if you haven't subscribed right below to the tapeneverlies.com, you need to, as we are starting our off-season analysis of the Bears roster, as well as the NFL draft and free agency. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about tonight.
We do, and we have some of that. We have some of this too, Phil.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Breaking news, everybody. Listen up, TTNL. The Bears have hired a new former Packers coach for the Bears, Mike Pettin. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? This is incredible. I feel it in good time. I can't believe this.
Oh. Our guy Angelo, breaking news. Mike Pettin, former defensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, coming over. You had to feel this one coming once you saw him get released, as much as Matt Nagy mentions the guy. So
yeah, Kyle Long took a shot immediately on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, he put the Stephen A. Smith little kid picture of this is what your face looks like when you're named the defensive coordinator of your team, and then 2 weeks later your team brings in a senior defensive assistant.
I didn't see that one.
I like Kyle Long, but man, he's been a salty little bitch.
Trolling. He's been trolling.
Yeah.
Could we get him on the show?
Love to. We had him on once. It was one of the best.
We had him on once.
Him and Akeem at the same time, if you can believe it or not. That was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But we had a good time on that one.
See, Claudio hasn't been producing well, so he can't reach out to Kyle. So maybe Berlissimo or some of you guys in the 100 crew that have some, what would Angelo call them? Fucking balls. Reach out to Kyle Long, see if he'll come on the show. I'd love to ask him what the dilly is, but I don't want to go too far down that road, but go ahead.
Yeah, he's said it. People said, you should come back and, you should have never left. And he's like, I didn't leave. I was told to go home. Well, at the same time, there's other teams in the NFL. I mean, if you still have the, piss and vinegar in your veins and want to go out there and kill people and feel that you'll still be effective, go play someplace. I mean, that it is what it is. It doesn't have to be in Chicago, but I love Kyle Long, the person. He was fantastic while he was here, but to say that his play didn't slip in a big way as a result of the repeated injuries, I mean, it got hard to watch. And that's not being a dick. That's keeping it 100, like we like to say, Phil. We reviewed the tape and we watched it. I mean, sometimes he was not Kyle Long.
It was embarrassing.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch, but yeah, that's what happens. Listen, when I have a source, Shane, I actually have a source when I say that, but obviously people didn't get my sarcasm, apparently, that when I was sharing all of these DM and screenshots that I put together, and I was joking about Harry Potter's source, get it? Sorcerer in the Stone. And then I was like, Eversource. I don't know. On the East Coast, we have an Eversource. And then all of these clues to showcase that I was joking, that people were taking me seriously, that I was sharing, that I had some information. I don't do that. So I figured I got to come on here and address, I guess people don't know me. I don't fucking say one thing and then do another thing. That's just not my style. If I fucking mess up, I'm going to own it. But right here, it's just, I got to spell it out. I fucking can't stand the Bears blog. I've asked him to come on the show several times. Shayne can attest. He thinks that some level of Broadway play that he works at is superior to coming on and talking football. I don't get down with that fucking narrative shit. And the old network, I guess they were talking like I'm being hypocritical, sharing a source. But sorry, Dan Aguirre. That wasn't what I was making a joke about sources. And I said, this guy's got a source. And then it changed every fucking minute. There's sources are saying it's Mariota. Sources are saying it's Wentz. Now it's Tariq Cohen. Now it's not Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen goes on. It's like, I can't make this source shit up. It drives me incredibly insane. I always say this. I'll say it to the camera. There's two guys that I rely on, unless they're completely connected. Like I know some players and people within the organization. If they texted me, I would say I heard from somebody within the organization. I wouldn't say source. But the two source guys that I really respect are Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter. That's it. I don't trust anybody else. That's it. Did I clear that up, Shayne?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it just, come on. I don't know how anybody could read that.
People were, they were
think that it's serious. I mean,
I went on a full, how many minute on Instagram in the snow joking about sources.
Right. Well, you called me and told me about it. I'm like, people took that serious? I'm like, what the hell? It was crazy. I don't know.
I can't believe that people.
Guys, get your own shit figured out if you're worried about stuff like that.
Exactly. Don't try to take a shot at us because I'm not being a hypocrite. I have people in the league. If you know I'm saying something, it's reality of what I've heard, but I won't title it sources. Source. I think that's a joke, but if I do that, I must have been drunk, or I don't drink that much like that. So there you go. Whose birthday was it today, Shayne? Let's give them a shout out. I saw it pop up.
Yeah, I did. We got a good question, though, from Alex Sims. I mean, we might as well dive right in.
Dive right in.
You'd rather have, the thing about it is Sam Darnold isn't going to be for a second rounder, according to Phil's guy, Adam Schefter. Yeah, Adam Schefter swore uphill and downhill and made a guarantee that the New York Jets will be able to get a first rounder for Sam Darnold. So that's one thing that you have to take into consideration. I was a fan of Mariota when he came out. I don't think that he's the move to make now. To me, he's got a lot of deficiencies, just like the guy that you're replacing here. To me, he's very similar to Mitch. Carson Wentz, obviously, there's baggage there. Injury history is a big part of it. Sacked 50 times in 12 games, and I know there was some other people that do things that some of the same things that we do here that put that all on Carson Wentz, and which, I mean, I watch the Philadelphia Eagles games. If you put that all on Carson Wentz, then you need to learn how to watch football, because Philadelphia was depleted on the offensive line, at the tight end, wide receiver core, and even on defense. So it was a conglomeration of shit over there. And Carson Wentz did not play well, but at least he's got a history of playing very well. I just find it hard to believe, or I don't find it hard to believe. I find it funny that people are holding Carson Wentz accountable for not playing well for 12 games, but Mitch is pushing 50 games, and there's every excuse in the book. And I mean, I like Mitch, and I'm not trying to say that he's bad at what he does, but it's sometimes I think Bears fans are misconstrued because none of us have had a quarterback to latch onto here and have us, carry us to the promised land or even to consistent respectability. It just hasn't happened here. So, I mean, if I was going to go there, I'm always going to go with the bigger upside. Do I want to give up a first rounder for either of these guys? Obviously not. If I had to give up a first rounder, and if you're going to hold my feet to the fire, I feel more comfortable giving up that for Carson Wentz than I do for Sam Darnold.
Yeah. I want to address Carson Wentz. Obviously, the QB guru will be coming on tonight, Mark Schofield, and obviously we're going to get into the quarterback stuff. But I'll say this. I mean, I'm with Shayne here. I can't look at Mitch Trubisky and analyze him with the whole picture in a team sport and not do the same thing with Carson Wentz,
right,
Darnold, and every other quarterback that you're going to analyze. The fit is there with Wentz based on the talent. The thing I like about Carson Wentz is his toughness and awareness in the pocket. Prior to getting hurt, this guy is a dog. Like, he is going to fight to stay alive within the confines of the pocket. And then he's more athletic. I hate the term sneaky athletic, but it fits here. Like Shayne would say, it fits right here. Yeah. And he can run and move. So,
and you're getting a top five. You're getting a top 3 or 4 arm talent in him. I mean, he's got
he's got great deep ball accuracy and anticipation. Those types of things are what separate the best of all time to, guys that get out of the league. Then arm strength versus accuracy and anticipation. I'm always going to go accuracy and anticipation. It's just going to be like that. And you can always build somebody's arm strength, but we're going to get into that. My reality is Sam Darnold. I love Carson Wentz. So those types of things are going to be intriguing to me. Now tonight with Mike Pettin signing here, and 2 things. Obviously, I want to shout out the birthday boy, William Eastman. Shout you out, Will. Happy birthday to you. It's going to be a great show to be breaking down these Chicago Bears, because right now, the pitcher on the mound is Tim Wakefield throwing knuckleballs. Nobody knows what's coming across the plate. So you're going to have to be sitting there in the box anticipating the pitch, because it could go anywhere. And I'm not a big baseball guy, so to pull that out of my ass is pretty impressive right now. So the knuckleballs that Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are throwing are ridiculous. But Mike Pettin coming on the staff, I just want to say this. Our guest is in the green room, so we're going to get into him, and we do it our way. But Mike Pettin to me is an interesting thing, because you have a young defensive coordinator that was raised in this system and Fangio's philosophy, and Mike Pettin also has some of the similar aggressive qualities. Although there's some sort of break in marriage with Green Bay, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits here with the Chicago Bears and we're going to get into him later in the show. But right now, the guy I call the QB guru is in the green room. Let's do it our way, Shayne.
This insurance attorney is also a 4-year letter winner and former QB at Wesleyan University. You got anything left, Mark? Asking for a friend. Bears fans, TTNL fans, let's keep this offseason rolling and bring in the QB guru and total groupie, Mark Schofield.
There he is. Schofield, what's up?
Intro. What's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing tonight?
We're doing. Do you have anything left, Mark? We need a QB here in Chicago. Can you do anything for us? You can't be any worse, can you?
I've got a torn labrum in both shoulders.
We'll take it.
So if that will work for you guys, I'll play for tacos. So
hey, we'll give you the Pace will give you the Glennon contract. How's that?
I'll take the Glennon I'll take the Glennon contract in a heartbeat. Believe me. Plus, look, I've been cooped up with my family for a year now.
Yeah.
It'll get me out of the house.
Yeah.
You can swab me with a COVID test, jam that thing up my nose every day if it's going to get me out of the house. Believe me.
Listen, Mark, let's start with the beginning. You know, I've known you for a while now. I'm so happy to have you the first time on our network here and our show, Keeping It 100. You're one of the best out there at analyzing truthfully, so you fit perfectly on this show, the quarterback position. And you have those eyes that I would trust. So if I was a head coach, I'd definitely hire you as an offensive coordinator up in the booth, and you would tell me what would be open and how and thoughts on plays so we can work together and collaborate together on those things. But let's go back to Mitch Trubisky. Why did he fail here? And what do you think what Pace saw in Trubisky? Obviously, we have, the history of Mahomes and Watson now. But at that point, we've talked a length about it, but for the first time listener here and viewer, talk about Trubisky.
I mean, I think what Pace saw in Trubisky was potential. And it's easy to get, when you're evaluating quarterbacks, sort of wrapped up in the idea that the lump of clay in front of you can mold into something bigger and something special. I think a lot of times teams fail in what we think is a quarterback evaluation realm, but it's really a failure of quarterback development. Mm-hmm. And I think the more we sort of see how organizations are handling quarterbacks, the more we're realizing that teams think they can mold a guy and they overvalue and they believe so much in their ability to coach a player up, when in reality, a lot of it has to happen in the offseason. And a lot of these quarterbacks simply are who they are. They are close to finished products by the time they come out of college. Muscle memory kicks in. And, there are moments from Trubisky's time in Chicago where I could see him make reads, make throws, make decisions, make non-decisions that I can just draw a straight line from that moment to a play he made or didn't make at UNC. Mm-hmm. And it's just these guys, sometimes you can get the development right. I think there are examples of that. I think Mahomes is an example of that, but I think Mahomes is also somebody that probably would have been pretty good wherever he ended up. I think obviously now what you're going to see, given what we just saw, are teams chasing the Josh Allen, Justin Herbert model, where big arm, big athlete, we can do that. We can be patient. We can get that in our organization. You're going to see teams go down that road. And another road we're going to see is the sort of Rams model where they say, we're going to move on. We're not going to – we trusted our evaluation of the guy. The development didn't work. We're still a quarterback away. So we're just going to go get somebody else. And so that's sort of the situation I think the Bears are in right now, where they feel like they have to figure that position out. It hasn't worked out with Trubisky, and now they're scrambling to find an answer. I saw Michael just pop up, rookie quarterbacks need to sit the first year, the first step in their progression. And I think, that's a model that can work. The problem with that is that, and I did a piece a couple of years ago for the Pro Football Weekly Draft magazine where I talked to a lot of different people, Matt Bowen, Tony Rasiopi, who coaches quarterbacks privately. The economics of it make teams want to play that rookie because it's cheap. And so the old model of like the 3-year window, that's out the window. And over the shoulder, I've got Bill Walsh, Find the Winning Edge, right? And that's a book he wrote years ago.
Right.
And I was just looking at that for a piece I'm working on right now for Carson Wentz. And even back then, 20 years ago, he was saying the 3-year window is gone. Like the economics of it back then were you've got to pay the guy. So if you're paying him, you might as well play him. The economics now are he's cheap. You can build around him. And so either way you look at it, it's great when a guy can sit. It's great when a guy can sit. But too many times organizations don't have that patience or don't have the opportunity. They don't have a guy to play. And so they're like, well, we might as well throw this guy to the fire anyway. And so, it would be great in some circumstances if guys can sit, but that's not always an option.
Mark, when you look at Mitch, just what do you think is the biggest flaw overall for him, even moving forward? I mean,
it's it's the same thing it's kind of always been. It's the mental side of it, Shayne. It's I saw somebody processing. Yeah, exactly. That's an issue. Are there things that can be done around him to sort of prop him up? Yeah. I mean, you could fix the offensive line. You could change things schematically. You could go to more of that McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur offense, which is play action heavy, run dependent, play action plays, shot plays out of 12, 13 personnel where you've got 2 or 3 tight ends in the game to sort of prop those guys up. But I think what you'll find there is something similar that we found with Trubisky and something similar that we saw with Jared Goff, and that it stunts their development, right? You look at Jared Goff and why he's now a Detroit Lions, because he could never make that big step. The thing with Jared Goff, the through line through his entire career as a Ram was indecisiveness. He wouldn't make throws when he needed to. The most critical, pivotal play of Super Bowl 53, he hesitated. He had Brandon Cooks open in the back of the end zone on a post route where if you threw it on time and in rhythm, it's a touchdown. That's a completely different game. He hesitated. He couldn't read middle of the field open coverages. He was still hesitating to this year. I've done multiple videos and breakdowns and all that stuff you can find. And they were like, look, our offense has propped him up to make him okay, but it's not going to prop him up to the point where we can win a Super Bowl with him. And so we just need someone that's going to get the ball out on time and be decisive. And I think there's a similar sort of parallel between the Goff situation with the Rams and the Trubisky situation in Chicago, which is Matt Nagy's offense and mirrored curl flat and all the day one installs type stuff that he would keep going to over and over and over again for Trubisky. That can only get you so far. At some point, the training wheel is going to come off and you're going to be able to make throws on time. And if you can't do it, your offense is going to struggle. And if you have to keep propping this guy up, you're not going to develop. And you can see where the problem ends up in a situation like now where you're thinking about possibly trading for Carson Wentz, who's a whole nother bag of issues.
Before we get into Carson Wentz, you know people in league circles and your own analysis. How much faith do you hear and do you feel in Ryan Pace getting the quarterback position corrected? Here's a guy that's had 7 years at the helm, the only one close to him that has this amount of time with this kind of record to show for it and misses at quarterback is Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals. There's no other GM that has lasted this long with this many misses. What are people thinking, and how can Bear fans have faith in this guy's analysis of this critical position?
I mean, it's hard to have faith, both from an outsider's perspective and as somebody that wants the Bears to be successful. I mean, I think it's great when there are 32 teams and 32 good quarterbacks because I get paid to talk about quarterbacks for a living, so it makes my job easier. I don't know if you can have faith in them getting the quarterback position right with this current Ryan Pace regime, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the trading up for Trubisky with Mahomes and Watson on the board will cloud that decision. It will certainly cloud that decision. But the Nick Foles decision to sort of make that panic trade because you were feeling the pressure to get the quarterback position right, that's also another sort of bit of evidence you could look at. And so
Mike Glennon.
Yeah. I mean, there's a body of work that is somewhat concerning in terms of getting the quarterback position right. There's a coaching thing too. I mean, is there if let's say hypothetically this organization drafts a rookie quarterback,
mm-hmm.
is there a belief, is there faith that Matt Nagy is going to develop a quarterback that's a rookie?
No.
I mean, you have the Trubisky story. I think that the hire of Flip as, a quarterback's coach is a positive step.
Yeah.
And strip that away from Carson Wentz in terms of are they going to go now reunite him with Wentz? But there is an example there of quarterback development because he was part of the triumvirate with Peterson, with Frank Reich, that turned Carson Wentz into an MVP candidate before he got hurt and before Carson Wentz completely lost his confidence, which is the biggest issue with him right now. And so at least there's that. There's something to cling to if you're a Bears fan that, you've now got somebody in the building that can at least show you a resume of I've done it, right?
Right.
Nagy doesn't have that. Pace doesn't have that. Flip at least has that. Now, I saw a comment, Monica, about are there perhaps too many cooks in the kitchen? That's also a concern. Head coach who's an offensive-minded guy, offensive coordinator, passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach. Like, it's good when you have a lot of voices at quarterback when you come off the field and you've got different viewpoints, but sometimes there are sort of too many cooks in the kitchen. Sometimes there can be conflicting analysis. And so, the issue there is, will you get all those voices on the same page? And will they all be sort of pulling in the same direction? You hope so. That's your hope if you're a Bears fan seeing all these cooks. But until it's put into motion, you just don't know. It could be a great thing. It could backfire spectacularly.
When you have a kid like Mitch that's not processing things mentally, like you said, more voices, a bunch more voices can screw things up a lot more too. But Mark, you brought up Carson Wentz. Mentally, and with him beat up, my entire family, other than me, are Philadelphia Eagles fans. So I'm around it. I live it and breathe it. I'm close to it here in New York. But sacked 50 times in 12 games and 13 offensive line changes in the first 14 games. Now, Carson does hold the ball a long time. I mean, so he's a big part of that. But where are you with him in terms of if Mark Schofield is the general manager of the Chicago Bears, are you willing to roll the dice on recapturing that 2017, 2018, 2019 Carson Wentz with a guy like Flip on staff?
It depends what the price is. Do I think Carson Wentz can be fixed? Yes, I do. But I think the answer to fixing Carson Wentz won't be found in a playbook. There will be a lot of people that say, look, Matt Nagy, Doug Peterson, same coaching tree. Peterson had him as an MVP candidate before he got hurt with the knee. And you'll see the schematic familiarity, which is a big thing for a quarterback. I think that will make it happen. The fix for Carson Wentz comes in his mind. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz's confidence is shattered right now as a quarterback. And it stems from a couple of different things. It stems from an injury history that has impacted his mechanics to this point in his career. Between the knee and the back, his mechanics have fallen apart. And again, I've got film breakdowns, videos. You can find them on Twitter, wherever, if you want to see that stuff. But he's locking up his front leg. He's loose with his upper body mechanics. And I'm Mr. Mechanics don't matter until they matter. They matter right now with Carson Wentz.
Here's a picture. Here's a picture for you right here.
Yeah. I mean, and he's always had that droop and dip. I mean, even the ball placement there on that particular throw doesn't bother me as much as when the bullets start flying for real and he starts locking up that front leg and he's trying to yam in throws. So the mechanics are a mess. That's issue number one. Issue number two is he's lost his confidence in himself. And that stems from the injuries. Mm-hmm. And that stems from, and this is probably a concern, they drafted Jalen Hurts shortly after the whole Nick Foles situation. And so Carson Wentz has played for the past a year and a half with the fear that the next throw will be his last if he screws up, and he's going to be benched for it. And this is a position you cannot play scared. You cannot play timid. If you're afraid to make throws because you think it's going to cost you your job, you won't make the throws that will keep your job. And that's the issue with Carson Wentz right now. And so the answer to trading for Carson Wentz is this. If you believe that Matt Nagy, that Flip, that Pace can instill in Carson Wentz the confidence that he is the guy, then sure, it will work. But here's the trick there. As an organization, you have to have a plan B. Yeah. You can't go into a Carson Wentz trade and think, this guy's it. All right, we're done. Maybe we'll sign, I don't know, Brian Hoyer back to be the backup just in case. You've got to have a viable plan B because you've got a guy that is coming off a bad year. Was he an MVP candidate a couple of years ago? Absolutely. Did he will that team to the playoffs, throwing a bunch of guys named Draft Dr. Phil, Shayne, and Mark down the stretch? Yeah, he did. But that guy isn't there right now. The guy that played last season is a broken quarterback. If you have the belief that you can fix him, great, but you're going to have a plan B, and that might spin you right back to where he was with that lack of confidence. That's my concern with Wentz. Like, do I think he can be fixed? Yes, but you've got to thread a pretty narrow needle to do it.
How much is Wentz impeded by the relationship of his teammates, the coach, and the supposed real issues or whatever that is that people are writing? Is this
right?
Is this the guy, in your opinion, I'm sorry, that comes here and says, fuck you, I'm going to fucking show everybody the Wentz that I am. That's the guy that I want. Is that him or no? Is he, because he can't do it, to your point, as I'm sitting here and I know this city and this team and the fans, it'll just be a fucking tidal wave. You saw it with Trubisky. You saw whatever Mitch couldn't do, Matt Nagy couldn't find Shanahan's offense to help him get to that point. He saved his job doing it ultimately near the end. But really, is Wentz that kind of person that's going to step into the wave as it's coming into your face? Or is he someone that's broken and just shouldn't be here?
I haven't studied, like I started studying Carson Wentz his junior year in college. I started talking to his North Dakota State coaches like then. And they speak extremely highly of Carson Wentz going back to North Dakota State. People that have coached him think the world of him. You know, there's a story about, you know, after they won the title his junior year, his offensive coordinator gives quarterbacks like this test to take home. You know, watch the entire season, like give me plays you would have made differently, checks you would have made, whatever. And he expects them to like take a week or so to do it. What's got it turned around within like 2 days? And this was after just winning the title. Like, the guy is coachable. The problem stems from the stuff around him. And from everything we've all read, everything I've heard, everything I've been told, there are sort of fractured issues within that locker room, not solely because of Wentz, not only because of Wentz, and not all involving Wentz.
Perfect.
But that's a Super Bowl team that fell apart in a rapid period of time. And there are people in and around the Eagles organization would tell you that the real problem stems from ownership, not so much the coach, not so much the quarterback. There are other issues there. And you get sort of Houston Texans vibes from that. But when you're talking about acquiring a quarterback that is in some senses broken, and part of that fracture is as a result of the team having to draft a quarterback in the second round, sports media, radio, all that stuff. When you have your backup win a Super Bowl and get a statue put outside the stadium, and now you have to go back in, like, that's a lot. And is Chicago the best environment for Carson Wentz to step into? Is Chicago a franchise that, I mean, I was stunned when I looked it up the other day. The current season touchdown pass record holder is still Eric Kramer.
Yeah,
Like,
never had a 4,000-yard passer.
This is an organization that has struggled, even with Super Bowl titles. You guys beat my Patriots, to figure out the quarterback position.
Okay.
And so is this? I think if I were advising Carson Wentz, I'd say, look, Carson, like Indy might be the better place for you. It might be the better media market. Like I'm not sure if Chicago is the best place for you. And if I'm advising the Bears, I'm saying the things you might have to do to fix him, I don't know if you can go all in on it. Like it's just a roll of the dice.
Especially with them, they're no matter what ownership is saying, they're collaborating or whatever. They're in a lame duck type of situation. So it's like, is this the answer to the rule to save their jobs? So you're the perfect candidate here. Everything you're speaking is just resonating with me. They should be listening. They probably are listening to make this move, because it was almost like it was told or sold like a done deal. Like this was happening last week.
And Phil, I can't help but wonder if a lot of what we heard last week was from the Philly camp, trying to make sure that they were driving up whatever market that either does exist or they're trying to manufacture. We in the media often over-evaluate quarterbacks to the point where we think that everybody feels the same way about quarterbacks that we do, right? That they're all good, they're bad, whatever. If you try to look at Carson Wentz objectively, where he is right now, especially with the potential for other options available either via the draft, trade, or free agency, like I think if you're an organization, you could explore other options that might be safer. And it brings us back to the original point about Trubisky. Sometimes coaches, organizations overestimate their ability to coach a player up, whether it's a rookie or a veteran. And maybe this is one of those situations where you might believe that Matt Nagy can coach a guy up and that the system might work, but is it really worth it? Especially if the potential cost is 2 first rounds and a player. Like, really? Like, if it's like a second and a future second, then okay. Like, okay.
I was okay with
there was
a first.
There was a report
that
they offered a future first, not the first round of this year.
2022 first, and then
Foles
Bears would get back a second. Bears would get the Philly second, and the Bears were giving up.
I think that was if they offered up the 2, Phil. But the last deal that I heard, they had offered the 2022 first rounder, and Nick Foles would be part of the package.
They would definitely. Nick Foles has to be a part of this whole thing, just for cap reasons here and there.
Yeah.
So that's got to be.
And look, you
got to get him out of here.
Yeah, you can't have Wentz and Foles in the same locker room again.
Yeah,
like you're just asking for a nightmare. So
exactly.
So Mark,
ahead,
saying that with all these quarterbacks, like Phil said, I think that the lame duck status and these guys are at the end of their rope. To me, screams that they're not going to invest a high draft pick in a rookie quarterback who is a complete. It could be the next Mitch, it could be the next anything. You just don't know. To me, I think they're going to go if like I said, I'll put you in the GM role again. If Mark Schofield is calling the shots, who is somebody that you would feel very comfortable? Is it somebody like, do you think you can fix Sam Darnold? You hear if Derek Carr is available or not, or if it's Marcus Mariota, or Deshaun Watson's the pipe dream, but you're going to deplete all of your resources for him.
Yeah,
would you do it? Would you do it?
I mean, I'm taking my first one at Watson.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I am. Look, he's the guy that everybody's chasing. Not just Deshaun Watson specifically, but that type of elite type quarterback. Like that's what 32 fan bases, 32 organizations want. You're probably not going to get him because when the New York Jets can put the pick at 2, the pick at 18 or 20, they've got the one I think at 23, and Sam Darnold on the table. When the Dolphins can put 3, 18, and 2 on the table, what are you going to match with? 20 and Nick Foles? Like if you're Nick Casario, which one are you taking out of those three options?
Right.
So you swing the fences for Watson, but you're probably not going to get him because other teams can put together better packages.
Would you
So
put Roquan in there? Roquan Smith, 20, the future one, and I'll give you Tariq Cohen as well. I'll throw him in there.
That's a ton to put up.
I'll put Cohen.
As great as Watson is, and would you still take that over, Tua 318 and Xavier Howard?
Roquan's a proven talent inside.
Howard.
So is Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
This is
Xavier
the thing.
Howard. I didn't hear the Xavier Howard name. I'm sorry.
You try to outbid Miami, who's got capital, or the Jets, who've got capital. Like you're.
But then it goes back, not to control this Watson thing, but it does go back to Deshaun because he has no trade clause. Michael Vick came in and spoke to him. I know this for a fact now that he sold him on San Francisco and the Bears being the best options for him. So that's got to have some merit. The Bears, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm with you. I'm with you.
If you're Watson, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers, right? Because you're looking at what Aaron Rodgers just did. He just won an MVP, had one of his best years at this point in his career in that sort of Shanahan offense. And you're thinking, all right, if the two best fits for me, Michael Vick, are San Francisco and Chicago, I'll go to San Francisco then.
Yeah.
Because I could play in a Shanahan type offense or go play for Kyle Shanahan. And so
right.
I think Chicago's in a really tough situation because you're at 20. That's the other thing. And you're not getting one of the top four in this draft class. You're just not.
Well, you're going to have to trade up.
You're going to have to trade up to do it. And the teams that need quarterbacks, you're going to have to pay a lot to get ahead of them.
Yep.
So at which point do you say, given what we'd have to pay to get to, 5 or even 3 to get ahead of Atlanta, if you're thinking quarterbacks go 1-2 and you're just paying what you have to get to 3 to get QB3 in this draft, well, then you're to the Family Guy mystery box joke, right? Because if you're going to pay what it takes to go all the way up there, then get the proven guy in Watson if you can.
Guys checking in. Don Edwards in Jamaica. Say what up to him, Mark.
Don?
So,
love Jamaica.
Who doesn't? Rasta man, me coming again now, coming up fast.
So the veteran quarterback route, do you have a pathway that you prefer there?
Yeah.
Can you
let's give him some. Let me put one other name on the table here, Schofield. My guy. I told Shayne last year I would trade everything for this guy. Maybe I would even put my boy David Montgomery in the trade for Russell Wilson. How realistic could that be?
The financials there are going to be really tough for both teams.
Yeah.
The other thing with Wilson is, as elite as he is, he makes at times offensive lines look bad because of his play style.
Yeah.
Well, he fits our offensive line because they suck.
Yeah. But he can make bad lines look even worse. Because there are times when he vacates clean pockets. There are times when a prime example of it, the sort of risk reward with Wilson. Look up the first touchdown pass he threw against the Jets this year. 4 verticals concept in the red zone, inside seam route because they rotated to a strange inverted cover 2 down to the red zone, which was just dumb anyway. So you basically had both corners like bail into the boundaries. Both inside seam routes were open. He didn't see it. And then he had to vacate the pocket, run around, and he made a scramble to a touchdown. And it looks great. Everybody's like, oh, wow, look at Russell Wilson. He gets to the sidelines, and Pete's like, you missed Y on the seam. Like, you'll see it on the film. Like, this is what he sometimes does. And when you're in this Matt Nagy offense, which like timing, rhythm, yardage after the catch, all that stuff that I've been harping about for years, and you guys have been too, I don't know if Russell Wilson's the best fit. And so when you combine that with the fact that the financials are such that I don't think Wilson's griping because he wants the Rodgers treatment, he wants the sort of Mahomes treatment. Quarterbacks are starting to realize that if they're good, they have leverage.
Sure.
If they're good, they can gripe. and make sure that they're protected, that they can get weapons and all that stuff. I mean, that's Wilson's campaigning and lobbying a bit, I think, more than anything else.
Do you think his wife's career is playing into this at all too, trying to get to a place like Vegas or New York?
I never say never.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm trying to pull together Valentine's Day gifts myself. I know that, the pull that the other half can put on you at times. But I mean, I think in this day and age, like, you can get anywhere in 3 hours, really. And so, Seattle versus Vegas versus Chicago versus New York City. I mean, I don't think that has, and plus they do so much vacation in Hawaii anyway. Like, I don't know if they'd want to leave the West Coast, but I mean, who knows? I mean, I wasn't in the owner box suite with Goodell and Russell and his lovely wife on Super Bowl Sunday. So
Goodell
who knows what they were talking about?
What were they talking? I was wondering too, Mark.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Adele gonna drop some bars on her next song,
or how did Nance pronounce her name?
Oh
Ciara?
my God! Nance.
Jim.
This one's for the ages, Mark.
There's a name, Gardner Minshew.
Here we go.
I like that. That could work.
Look at this.
Is that if you're a GM and a head coach at the end of your rope? Can you afford to have that be your move though, Mark? Honestly.
I mean,
he is a what do you call it? A polarizing character.
I mean, air raid guy. I always liked his footwork at Washington State. I loved his attitude when I talked to him at the Senior Bowl. Like, he's got that Baker Mayfield like chip on his shoulder kind of thing. You put weapons around. I mean, look, the weapons would be a factor. I mean, you would have to have talent around him. I mean, he had some talent this year. Robinson, Laviska Shenault, DJ Chark. You need weapons. You need an offensive line. So, I mean, there's a path to do it. And it certainly wouldn't cost you what it would cost you for a Wentz or a Wilson or a Watson, because they're drafting Trevor Lawrence to start week 1. So he's certainly going to be available.
What about Darnold? Where do you stand on him?
Darnold's interesting. I'm fascinated to see what the Jets do. I'm fascinated to see what the Jets do it too, because they could go in so many different directions. They could draft Jamar Chase. They could draft Penny Sewell. They could draft Devontae Smith. They could go in so many different directions and try to run it back with Darnold. I thought the idea that they hired John Becton, formerly the offensive line coach with the Niners, to come with Robert Saleh, tells me, look, there's a pathway to sort of prop it up Sam Darnold. They could do that. They could swing for the fences for Watson also and make Darnold expendable. I think what's interesting about Darnold is he had 1 year with Todd Bowles and then 2 seasons with Adam Gase. And Adam Gase has this reputation as the quarterback whisperer, the quarterback guru, built upon the back of coaching Peyton Manning for a year or 2. And I'd venture a guess that anybody on this show right now, the three of us, anybody watching this show, would be a quarterback whisperer too if they got to be Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator for a season, right? Yeah. I mean, you could just basically say, Peyton, here's the playbook. I'm gonna go golfing. Like, you got this. And then a year later, you're a head coach of the Miami Dolphins because, hey, you coached up Peyton Manning. The guy's Peyton freaking Manning. Yeah. And so there's this idea that Gase did everything he could with Darnold, and Darnold is unfixable. I think that's a bit unfair. I think Darnold hasn't gotten a real shot.
He's still very young too, 24 years old.
Extremely young. Extremely young play in this position. He didn't start playing quarterback until he was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about a guy that then came out as a redshirt sophomore, came out young. Like, with a lot of these, with Carson Wentz, pull up that picture again of his dumb mechanics. That's muscle memory with him. It's not that way with Darnold at this point because he's barely been playing the position. I mean, I've been writing about football as long as he's been playing the quarterback position. Yeah, and I'm an idiot. And so,
he's younger than, I believe he's younger than Joe Burrow.
Yeah. And so, is Darnold an option? Absolutely. Like, and Darnold could be, for the Bears, what Goff could be in Detroit, which is, you take a swing at this guy. And if it works, great. And if not, well, yeah, you're probably going to be picking early next year because you'll have a new coach, new general manager, and they'll want their guy anyway. But if it works, it's fantastic.
So what is the order with everybody on the table, including Minshew, what are you looking at before we tap into some of these rookies? What are you looking at in regards to the perfect guy? If you were the GM, what should the Bears do with a Matt Nagy offense? And that offense is whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the Darnold idea. I'm, intrigued by Minshew and a rookie. I've seen some discussions about Fitzpatrick, Mariota. I think those are the guys that you would go get if your plan is, I'm drafting Mac Jones at 20. You might not get him at 20. I'm just going to say that right now.
I don't think he'll be there.
And I would be praying for Mac Jones.
And so, if you're going to go the veteran route, I think Darnold, Minshew is interested in swinging the fences for Watson. The Wentz thing does scare me, as we've talked about.
Right.
I do think that, if you trusted Flip, if you trusted Nagy, if you trusted everything, like, great, but, you're talking about a guy that struggled because he was looking over his shoulder, and you're going to have a viable plan B behind it, because if he's still 2020 Carson Wentz, it's not easy. It's not easy.
It isn't easy. And when you look at this rookie class, obviously, we talked about my favorite quarterback is Mac Jones in this draft. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and what have you. But for the first time in my lifetime, Shayne and myself and our buddy Cars, who's not on the show right now, have agreed back in October that Mac Jones was our guy. What are your thoughts on him, and where do you see this pecking order, if you will? I know it's early in the analysis stage in regards to the combine, and that's not happening now. So you're going to have these, I don't know what their plan is yet. Have they come up with something? They're going to tell
pro days. It's
all pro days. So there you go. You're going to only have pro days to tap into that one-on-one with these guys. So where's your order, number one, and what are your thoughts on Mac Jones?
Speaking of Mac Jones first, I think, he's going to go in the first round. I'm not so sure that he'll be there at 20. Washington at 19 is a possibility. Like, I think that's his probable floor. I think he goes before that. Mm-hmm. What I see Mac Jones, I see, best case scenario is Kirk Cousins plus in the National Football League. Somebody that you need talent around, somebody that, when I see him work through reads on film, there are moments when there are routes that are NFL open and he doesn't throw. He'll check the ball down or he'll go elsewhere. That was something he did on film at Alabama. That was something he did on film with the Senior Bowl. And it reminded me so much of Kirk Cousins and the stories about how Jay Gruden will just like throw up his hands and say, I can't get it more open than that, Kirk. At some point, you're going to have to pull the trigger on this throw. Yeah. Now, I think there's still value in a quarterback like that. That quarterback could get you to the playoffs. Like that quarterback, you will win games with him. What I think first-round quarterback, though, I want somebody I think I will win games as a team because of, not with. I think the four guys at the top are guys you win games because they have the talent, the athleticism, the arm strength, the aggression. They're aggressive passers. They're guys that, they're not timid. Whether it's Fields, whether it's Wilson, like they will make throws when the situation calls for you to attack a small throwing window. Even Trey Lance, I think, and that sort of, he could walk into San Francisco right now and know Shanahan's offense because it's literally the same thing he's running North Dakota State. And for everybody, when they start watching Trey Lance, the North Dakota State kid, I will tell you, if you see him throw the ball to the fullback early in the play, he's done his job. I've talked to his coaches. Like, they are a low to high read structure. And if the fullback is open early in the down, that's where the ball should go. Doesn't matter if you've got a post route screaming open downfield. If it's open, you're going to throw it. And so when you start watching Trey Lance, Barely Samo, and I know you're gonna, if that fullback is open and he throws it, that's the right read for him. even if that post route downfield is open. It's a low to high structure. But Trey Lance could walk into that San Francisco offense and be like, oh, that's bench, that's swirl. Yeah, we called it zebra, whatever.
Right.
Run that offense. I think those 4 guys at the top are really talented. I think in the right setting, Mac Jones could be great. I don't think you're going to get him at 20 because he's 8-15 New England. He's going to go. Then you're talking about Kyle Trask, who
No.
are you drafting Kyle Trask at 20?
No.
I mean, I literally, I've done videos on him this week. I've been watching nothing but Florida because I, would sell my soul to get Kyle Pitts to New England at 15. I'm not drafting Kyle Trask at 20.
No, I'm there with you too. The kid from Ohio State,
Fields.
Justin Fields, he comes in with a reputation where he's not an aggressive thrower. He's not acting, he comes with these dilemmas, and then he's injured playing, obviously grimacing every throw and showing you the kind of toughness and determination that you're talking about. Where do you see him? And is he a fit into something like the Matt Nagy scheme where you like this guy, he's going to fit the RPO game, and you're going to go move up to get him?
I think there are elements of Nagy's offense that he can run. There are elements that I think would be a bit tougher for him. I think with Fields, there are things to really like about him. If you want to watch Fields, I think a good way to study Fields, if you're looking to do that, watch his Clemson game from 2 years ago and his Clemson game this past season. Because 2 years ago against that Brett Venables 3-1-7, he was slow, he was indecisive. It cost him an opportunity to win that game. Watch him a year later, he's got it all figured out. He's attacking those narrow windows.
Yes.
Gets banged up, and he's still coming back and firing bullets. I really like Justin Fields. I'm not done, but I'm leaning towards Fields at QB2 for me. He checks so many boxes. Now, the scheme fit in a more West Coast based offense is a bit tougher for him. I think Lance and Zach Wilson are better scheme fits. But I do think that when all is said and done, Fields is going to end up my QB2.
Guys, we don't scout based on the college that a player plays at.
It's a lot of people are very hesitant about Fields because of that. And I understand it. You look at the track record of great NFL quarterbacks that have worn that helmet, and there isn't one. Like it's
Graham doesn't strike.
It's not the best list of quarterbacks to base it on. And I understand it's completely natural. But what's different about Fields, going back to school this year helped him. Because when you see him, and this is a great question from Yule here, and I'll touch on this right now. My biggest question on Fields this past summer, I did a video with Matt Waldman about Fields. We thought he needed another year. And this past summer, both Waldman and I said, Trevor Lawrence is number one. Like, he's QB1. Like, forget it. But we both had Lance above Fields this summer. Fields had to go back. He got to the right answers, but it took too long. Like that Clemson example. Playing quarterback's not a take-home exam. You don't have 24 hours to relearn everything. It's a timed exam, and that clock's ticking. You got to get to the right answer, but you got to get there fast. You don't have time to figure it out. That was his issue a season ago. He figured it out this year. He had a rough game against Northwestern. A lot of people watched that Big Ten championship game. He looked slow, sluggish, indecisive in that game. Sure, he struggled in that one. In terms of Fields getting through reads, if you want to see some evidence of that, you will see it in the Clemson game. You will see it. I did a video on him against Rutgers where he's looking guys off. He's getting to his second, third, fourth read in the down, attacking the middle of the field. Like, he's doing it. And a lot of the things that he's asked to do in that offense, and this is a point that Nate Tice made, who his dad coached the Vikings. Like, Nate knows his stuff.
We had him here in Chicago.
Yeah, Nate knows his stuff.
Mike. Yeah.
A lot of Ohio State's route concepts are vertical adjustment routes. And so it's not like you're either running a slant or an out. You're like either running a go or a 15-yard comeback or a dig. And so when it looks like he's sort of hesitated on things, it's because he's going to wait for the guy to get 15 yards downfield to make his decision on these triangle reads they're running. And so, go into Fields when you start watching him with an open mind, because I think that there is a very good quarterback in Justin Fields that gets through reads better than he's given credit for, particularly with the offense that Matt Day has installed for him.
Mark, when you look at these guys, like you said that you had Lance over Fields this summer, how much of I don't want to say that how much does projection play into that? Like, are you when you're looking at him, are you saying, all right, in 2020 he's going to make, we're kind of expecting him to make this jump, and obviously Lance, we got one game out of him. How much do you think that hurt this overall process for him heading into this draft? Because everybody talks about the whole Bill Parcells model of drafting quarterbacks. I mean, we lived it here with Mitch, the 1-year guy. Yep. Do you think that that's going to hurt Trey Lance?
I think with Lance, there's two, bits of tension with Lance. One is the, FCS school, 1 year plus one game, and that's it. So you're worried about level of competition. You're worried about level of experience. You as an organization here in Chicago are worried about the Trubisky factor with a 1-year starter. And so there's that tension. The flip side to that coin is the Justin Herbert, because Justin Herbert showed this year that athleticism, arm talent, the ability to throw against leverage, that's enough. That's enough. There are a lot of people that didn't think Justin Herbert was going to be a good quarterback. There were a few people that thought he was even QB3. There were even a smaller amount of people that thought that Justin Herbert in the right situation could be a great quarterback. And I was one of them. I literally wrote, look, this guy can throw downfield in a downfield vertical-based passing offense based off of play action. The guy has the ability to he can do two things that are so critical to playing in the NFL right now: identifying leverage and throwing against it, and having the athleticism to escape, extend, and survive. Trey Lance has those. And so in this copycat league, there are going to be organizations that look at Justin Fields, that look at Trey Lance and think, we could do that. Yeah. And so I think that's the tension with Trey Lance. Are you going to trust in the building, or are you going to sort of look at the lack of work from Trey Lance, the lack of experience, and shy away from him? The other thing that's important to remember, and this is both Chicago specific and then just generally, the people making these decisions have bills to pay. They have mortgages to pay. They have cars to pay. They have kids to put through school. They don't want to get fired. If you're sitting there at 20 and Trey Lance and Mac Jones are on the board, you draft the FCS kid with 1 year and one game and he doesn't pan out, you're getting fired. Mm-hmm. You draft the Alabama kid that just won a national championship and he doesn't pan out. Well, what do you want me to do? I drafted the SEC kid. You're not gonna get fired. These are risk-averse people making decisions. And so you have to view it through that lens. The ones that think outside the box, either they get it right or they get fired. And there's no in between.
That's why the head coach is so important to the pick and the culture and the teaching of what they want to do philosophically to develop a passer. Because when Mark speaks on this, getting to the, escapability, allowing yourself to get out there and give yourself more time is a young quarterback's best friend if they're accurate on the move. That's what we've seen in this game with all of the rules favoring the offense. If you have escapability and you have anticipation accuracy, then you're going to be able to be successful on this level early. If you're just a pocket passer and your head coach doesn't know how to fucking run the ball and action off of it, you are going to get killed, crucified, and bent, and whatever. If people are going to get fired. This guy is Mark Schofield. I already see the comments. Every guest we have just keeps getting better and better. Mark Schofield is what I call, and Shayne calls, a QB guru. Those of you listening live right now in the chat. You guys are hearing it. I'm obviously loving it. Mark, I know I don't want to take much of your time. I want to make sure we still have you for a little bit longer. Okay, beautiful. Good. I have some questions still. That's why I asked. But this guy is a dope guest. He's a great man. Mark, before I ask my next question, where can people find your work and what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way is on Twitter at Mark Schofield. I do, if I don't have Twitter videos up there, you will find them. I've got a YouTube channel where I put stuff up. But USA Today, Touchdown Wire, myself, Doug Farrar, we cover the league. We did, I think, between the two of us, I want to say it was about 75, all 22 pieces just for the playoffs alone.
Wow.
I think we had like 25 just for the Super Bowl. Just in the past couple of days, I've got video breakdowns of Kyle Pitts, Kyle Trask that went up. Probably going to be doing one on Mac Jones for tomorrow. But yeah, on Twitter at Mark Schofield. Like that's the easiest way to find me.
Make sure you guys do that. I mean,
100%. Yeah, you're not gonna find a better follow, especially. I mean, if you're gonna get into this quarterback talk. But Phil, real quick before you go, Mark, I want to ask you.
Cutting me off, Mark. Look,
yes. Hey. I got to strike when I can.
That's all right.
Filling his horn. Not to bring up Carson Wentz again, but part of being a GM when you have to. You have to weigh risk versus reward. Part of the, trading up and investing future picks and going up top for one of these rookies. When you're talking about, Kansas City moved from 27 to 10 by giving up a future first and a third to move up, that far. You're talking about if the Bears invest those picks to move up to 10, and you're talking about at that point, if you get up to 10 or that range, you're talking about, Mac Jones or somebody like that. If you're going to give up a future first in your world, what is a better investment? To take the risk at Mac Jones if you can move up to 10, what it would cost, or to roll the dice by trying to fix Carson Wentz, who's done it before? He's got the big contract, but part of the guarantees, Philly's going to eat a lot of that. What did they say? $34 million. That's going to go against their cap, so you get that part of it off. But when you're weighing all the risks versus the rewards, I mean that's going to be a part of the process that Pace and Nagy are going through.
Yeah, Shane, that might be the question right there. That might be the question right there. Do they trust their evaluation of QB5 in this class?
Right.
And do they like QB5 and what it would cost to go get QB5 more than what it would cost Carson Wentz? And I think where I would come down on that is you've got at least some NFL success from Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Your bet is 2020 was just a complete, once off. It's an aberration. You can at least get him to 2019 Carson Wentz. And that guy got Greg Ward Jr.,
which would be the best quarterback in Chicago Bears history, by the way.
That guy got Greg Ward Jr. To the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they might have won that first round game if he doesn't take that hit to the head from Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
That's your bet. And if you think you can get him at least to that guy, forget 2017 Wentz. That guy might be dead. Okay? That guy might be dead. But like you said, Jay, 2019 Wentz might be good enough to get this team to the playoffs. And probably better than Rex Grossman, who, as you just pointed out, led you guys to the Super Bowl.
I do think and I'm not saying that the Bears are fantastic, but I do think people forget that the Bears actually made the playoffs this year with their situation.
And what does 2019 Carson Wentz in the Chicago offense, the Chicago team last year, what does that mean for you guys? Maybe another win or two? Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe a tough win against the Saints team that was ripe to lose?
Yeah.
And so if you think you can get that guy, and I think you can, I think there's at least an easier path to that than developing Mac Jones. Because again, for as good as Mac Jones is, are you sure you can develop him? Are you sure that this current coaching staff is going to be able to get a rookie to play to that level?
Playoffs?
Exactly. Mac Jones. I love Mac Jones, but people are asking the good questions about Matt Nagy. And before I get into Matt Nagy, because I want to put a bookmark on Matt Nagy and your thoughts on him. So put that there. But I really want to talk about some of these sleeper quarterbacks in the draft. I have a couple names for you that I wanted to hear your thoughts. Obviously, the kid Mond from A&M won the patented Cade McNown Award, the Senior Bowl MVP, if you remember. Another Bears bust at quarterback that was drafted. Felipe Franks or some what's his name? Obviously from Texas, Ellinger. Sam Ellinger. And then the kid Brandon Peters from Illinois. He's got some size to him. So is there anybody else? I like the kid from I want your thoughts on him too. The kid from Appalachian State.
Zach Thomas.
I really Yeah.
I mean, look, I mentioned Tony Rasiopi earlier. I mean, that's who Zach Thomas is working with. Tony Rasiopi, and I've known Tony for a long time. Tony thinks the world of him, obviously. I think Ellinger's interested because obviously there's some toughness that I like about him.
Yeah. He's a gamer,
He's a gamer. I'd like him to be faster with decisions and reads. I think that's an area where he needs a lot of improvement. I think, look, all the names you're talking about right now, you're talking about on day 3. Like, you're talking about these guys on day 3, the lottery ticket type of picks. I mean, Ian Book, another name that just got dropped in.
Yeah.
Ian's kind of the modern quarterback that has that athleticism, that has the ability to be a weapon and with his legs. When you can do that, when you can play 11 on 11 in the run game, I think that's critical for offenses today. The days of the battleship quarterback are gone. David Mills, that's another name. He's got an arm to him. A lot of people are starting to talk a little bit more about Mills. He's somebody that thinks a little bit of buzz. Jamie Newman, the Wake Forest / Georgia kid. If I'm taking that lottery pick on day 3, I like Jamie Newman. He transferred to Georgia to prove he could play at an SEC school and opted out.
I'm a Alabama guy, and I saw Newman I was so excited about that. And then, he had his reasons, obviously, with COVID. But boy, I was
he's
disappointed.
Draft eligible.
Yeah, he was at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah,
he was at the Senior Bowl, and he looked really good on Tuesday, the first day of the Senior Bowl. He had 2 really bad interceptions in team drills on Wednesday. And Wednesday was the day that sort of Mac Jones really stood out. That's the day that everybody in the media sort of lost their minds. And I understand why. He looks great on Wednesday. Yeah. Newman's very interesting. These are all sort of flyers. Like, I'm not going to really be planting my flag on one of these day 3 guys as, you're going to get a true diamond in this guy if you just wait till the 3rd day. Like, I do think this is 6 deep, really, with those 4 guys, the top 4, and then Trask and Jones, sort of that tier 2. Maybe a Newman slips in, maybe a Mills slips into that sort of next tier. But we all love developmental day 3 quarterbacks. I mean, I live for those guys. I was the guy that was.
Ryan Pace doesn't. Ryan Pace doesn't. We can't get him to draft.
He keeps promising, Mark. We're gonna draft a quarterback every year, and he never does.
I think as an organization, this is one of my pet peeves of the whole roster construction standpoint. As an organization, we have to be looking to upgrade every position.
Exactly.
1 through 50.
Talk about it. You got to do it.
Yeah, and that includes backup quarterback. And I would challenge people listening live, listen to this later on a replay. Think about a roster. Think about the 22 starting positions. Rank them in terms of importance, but include backup quarterback in there. Exactly. How quickly you might get to QB2.
Pen and paper that. Pen and paper it.
You might get to QB2 before you get to right guard. Honestly, because if you lose your starting quarterback,
don't tell the whole thing.
You don't have an answer behind that guy. You're in trouble.
No,
and the NFL graveyards are littered with teams that didn't have a viable option of a backup quarterback. And so I think smart organizations, look, I'm You see the Patriots banner over my shoulder. You hear the Boston accent, which I still flaunt to this day, even though I haven't lived in New England since I was in college. The New England Patriots had Tom Brady. The entire time they had Tom Brady, they drafted a quarterback basically every other year.
Exactly.
Like, you have to be doing that. You're not doing your job if you're prepared for the next guy. When they drafted Garoppolo, Belichick said, look, I'd rather be a year ahead of schedule than a year behind schedule. Because if you're a year behind schedule, you're picking 20 in the draft. You're going to be outside looking in at the top 4 quarterbacks, and you're thinking about paying 2 firsts for Carson Wentz.
It drives me insane, this fucking GM and his inability to do what you just did, given a fucking football course in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It took you to recognize that you got guys that have been traded and gained experience. Jimmy Garoppolo, my boy, that I got a question for you about too. The Indianapolis Colt.
Brissett, yeah.
Jacoby Brissett. Is he somebody the Chicago Bears can take and run this offense with it?
I mean, he could probably run the offense. The thing about Brissett that I think kind of went under the radar at Indianapolis, he was a leader of that team. He was a leader of that locker room as a backup quarterback. And so, I think that the idea of could Jacoby Brissett come into Chicago and, take over
I
that
love
huddle?
Jacoby Brissett. I'm serious. I do. There's something.
Jacoby and a rookie is a viable option, I think.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
You're with me.
Yeah.
That means a lot right now because people thought I was crazy. But I honestly, Jacoby Brissett has something that I don't think.
There's something there. Like,
yes.
Are you going to be, a surefire playoff team with Jacoby Brissett? I don't think you can make that guarantee. But
right. But you got there with Mitch.
Run the offense and be perhaps a swanky 30, as you just said, perhaps that bridge could be that if it works, great. If not, well, he could get you to the next guy. Yeah. Yeah, I think he could do that. And look, he can make throws on time in rhythm. Like, that might be all this offense
And
needs.
he's tough as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tell him he fucking will stand in there and
part of that.
Last second.
I mean, I comped him to Roethlisberger when he was coming out of NC State. But he was that guy that's his mobility is toughness. He's not gonna beat somebody to the edge.
He's not beating you to the corner.
But he's gonna stand in there and move around and slide his feet and take a hit and get the ball out on time. Like, that's what he can do. Like, he's not gonna wow you. He's a guy that you win with, and I think that's an option.
I love it.
I just always go back to these guys being at the end of the rope with their jobs.
It's ruined my moment.
I don't know how you go to ownership or even to your fan base and say Jacoby Brissett and Mac Jones are the answer.
I got to say this and push back on you. You have to get this shit right. Forget about what Joe
That's obvious, Phil, but I think
this thing,
right, wrong, or indifferent, I think that they're going to go after somebody like I think that they're in on Carson Wentz.
What about Jameis Winston?
I don't think he's leaving New Orleans.
I mean, he's got a shot to be the starter down in New Orleans. New Orleans is such a bad cap situation anyway. I don't think they could afford me right now.
Not on that Glennon contract.
Not on that taco contract either, guys, to be honest. And so, I don't. And look, 30 picks. I want to believe in Jameis Winston. I want to believe that there's a quarterback in there, but I don't think he's going to solve the problems that need to be solved at the quarterback position for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree there. Where do you stand? To bring up another veteran, what is your take? I compare Mariota a lot to Mitch. I mean, there's obviously some issues there. There's athleticism that you like, but where's your stance on Mariota?
I mean, I think Marcus Mariota at this point of his career is that nice backup to have that teams will value, because you saw it this year with the Raiders. Look, he comes into a game, you're not ready to play him. You're not ready to defend him. He could get you a win. He could get you a spot starter too. But I'm not going all in on Marcus Mariota as being the guy at this point of his career. Like, if I'm, say, the Baltimore Ravens, and I want to upgrade a backup quarterback, RG3 moves on or whatever, Marcus Mariota will be great. But if I'm the New England Patriots, no, I'm not going in on Marcus Mariota. I mean, if I'm the New England Patriots and I draft Trey Lance, Marcus Mariota might be that nice week 1 to 8 bridge to Trey Lance. But I don't think you're looking at Marcus Mariota to be your starter for an entire 16-game season.
When you look at Matt Nagy and his offensive philosophy or lack thereof, as my father and I look at him, and he just seems to be just calling plays, never scheming. You come from the real East Coast offensive philosophy where you went to college, and then obviously what you see New England doing, where even with the GOAT, they're scheming and creating these matchups to help the quarterback identify a matchup, but help the team win. Here, I just don't. I'm so lost at anything they do philosophically. So maybe the QB guru that you are, you can speak on Matt Nagy. Am I looking at a guy with a Greek menu trying to figure out if he's ordering breakfast, brunch, dinner? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel over the years, I mean, I think I should remind the bona fides. I spent 2 years over at Pro Football Weekly as the Mitch Trubisky guy.
Yeah.
For 2 seasons in a row, I did a post-game in-depth dive onto Mitchell Trubisky. And so I've seen a lot of Trubisky. I've seen a lot of Matt Nagy's offense. And the takeaways that I always had were the lack of imagination and creativity pre-snap and the lack of imagination and creativity post-snap. It seemed to me in the years I've studied Mitchell Trubisky, in the years I've studied Matt Nagy's offense, Nagy's offensive answers would be, let's find a different way to run mirrored curl flat. We'll run it out of trips. We'll run it out of 2x2. We'll run it out of 13 personnel with a full house backfield. And you brought up the New England Patriots with Tom Brady. They would do so much pre-snap, motion, movement, shifting. Within my arm's reach right now is their 2016 playbook. And I could pull it off the shelf. I've got it printed and bound. And they have in there literally why we use motion. They have a whole chapter at first. We use motion on this play or in this formation or this personnel package to tell our quarterback X, Y, and Z. That's for Tom flipping Brady. Okay. And so the idea that, you can just line up and play. No, you've got motion for 2 things: information and impact. One, information, all that X, Y, and Z stuff. Is it man? Is it zone? Is it cover 1, cover 2, cover 3? I often try to theorize it this way. There's a decision-making window as a quarterback. Okay.
Yes.
A lot of coaches view that window as snap to throw, that 2.78 seconds. Okay. Your job as an offensive coordinator, as an offensive play designer, as an offensive-minded head coach is to expand that decision-making window. If you just rely on that 2.78 seconds, you're not doing your job. You have to start giving your quarterback information the second you break the huddle.
Exactly.
Personnel. Okay. If you're out there with 12 personnel with 2 tight ends and they're in dime, why are you even going to try to throw the ball, kids?
Exactly. Why don't you check to
Wonderful.
run? Counter, one counter,
all
please.
those things. Okay. Motion for information, expand that decision-making window. So now, if you're spending 15 seconds at the line of scrimmage and you're getting information based on movement, shift, and formation and all that, your 2.78 seconds is now 17.78 seconds. Tell me, imagine driving down the road. You have 2.78 seconds to avoid a deer, or you have 15.78 seconds. Which deer are you saving and which deer are you eating that night for dinner?
Right.
It's the same thing. And so
you're giving me goosebumps because
that's what you have to do. I saw them do it for Tom Brady. Every offensive playbook, I read them all. I got Matt Nagy's. I got Sean McVay's. You name it. I get yelled at by teams when I use them in articles, but I do it anyway. Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you some stories sometime.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, I was coaching Little League week 1, and I got an angry phone call from an editor being like, I just got a call from the head of PR for this team, which will go unnamed. You got to stop doing this. I'm like,
no.
Yeah.
So, but that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do as an offensive coordinator. You have to give you quarterback information. You have to expand that decision-making window. If you're not doing that, you're not doing that. If they're doing it for Tom Brady, you damn well better be doing it for Mitchell Trubisky or anybody else.
Anybody listening to the podcast version of this show, the tapping that you hear is Mark Schofield getting amped up, dropping the hammer.
I
on
tend to hit the desk. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just keeping it 100 on Keeping It 100. If Mark gets fired up, he's animated. How could you not love this interview? The knowledge. What is it? What does Karis one say? Knowledge is infinite. I live in a fortress. Well, that's where you're bringing it. It could be another rapper, but the reality is you are bringing the knowledge tonight. And I know you're a big Toto fan.
I am.
But the quarterbacks, the fits. Now you're giving me fits. So speaking of Fitz Magic, is that somebody that comes here to Chicago? Same kind of thing, more of a bridge, or is that somebody with a rookie that becomes a mentor?
I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick could go anywhere and be good at this point of his career. I'm convinced. I mean, I'd like to see him come to New England just so he could complete the AFC East circuit and have played for all four teams. But I mean, you're talking about somebody that, and Brian Flores had a really tough decision to make because their plan this year was to bring Tua along. They had a clear plan to start Tua after the bye, but they were winning games. And so they stuck to their plan. They got caught in between. Tua wasn't ready. Ryan Fitz was good. Ryan Fitzpatrick can win you games in this league. Is he a 16-game starter? It's similar to that Mariota discussion. I don't think he's a full 16-game starter.
Right.
But similar to that Mariota discussion, if you decide that we're going in on a rookie, yeah, you better be calling Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, is there a better player coach in this league? I don't think so. I mean, that's a great point. He takes that not all quarterbacks do this, not every quarterback, every veteran quarterback is say Alex Smith, where, you draft Patrick Mahomes and Alex Smith starts picking Patrick Mahomes up to bring him with coffee, to show him how to be an NFL quarterback. Some quarterbacks treat it like Joe Flacco, where you draft Lamar Jackson. Okay, I'm going to be a prick now.
Yeah,
I'm not going to help him. That's not my job. Fitzpatrick fills that mentorship role. You watch his interactions with Tua. You see every other organization Fitzpatrick has been. He has been that mentorship guy. And so if Chicago decides we're going to draft Trey Lance, we're going to draft Mac Jones, we're going to go in on a rookie, whatever, Fitz. McNown, I mean, that's the other example.
That's a great example.
Yeah, that's the same sort of example. That's why a lot of people in this league, you talk to people in this league, they tell you McCown is going to be a head coach in like 2 years. Like,
really?
He's the head coach of Wade in Houston. Like,
100%.
That's the situation down in Houston. They're just going to let him have a couple of years of experience. And I can't wait until McCown and Rivers are coaching against each other in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady playing for one of them. That's probably 10 years from now, but it's going to happen.
Oh my God. I got one last thing and then a favor after that.
Okay.
Unless Shayne, you have another question.
Go ahead.
Or anything. Let's talk about the GOAT real quick. We witnessed it, history, and I can't say enough about this guy without.
GOAT looked a little wobbly today.
Look, guys,
it's the only.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I'm 7 months older than Tom Brady.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I get it. I know why you're laughing.
I'm right there with you, man. I'm 44. I watch him every night.
He's going to be hung over till June.
I don't blame him.
I will say that right now. He's going to be hung over till June. Tom Brady. What can I say about Tom Brady? When they lost to the Titans on that Saturday, I was on a radio station out in San Francisco the next day. And they were asking, like, where do you think Tom Brady goes? I said, you hear the typical teams that people are talking about. So watch the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's going to go to Tampa Bay. That's a team to watch. Why? Because it's Tom Brady, right?
Right.
What did he do before he signed with Tampa Bay the month of March? Kind of slipped under the radar. He started a film production company. Do you guys know what he named it?
No.
199 Productions.
Yep.
That was when he got drafted, pick 199. This is a man that is driven to this day by being drafted 199. Why did I think he wanted to go to Tampa Bay? Because everybody would say the second he did it, he can't run Bruce Arians' offense. He can't throw downfield anymore. He's washed. He's done. That right arm of his is a wet noodle of fettuccine. People wrote that about him.
Where's Angelo?
People have said that about Tom Brady since 2014, that he was done, that the cliff was here. And he wanted to go to Tampa Bay to tell everybody, no, I still got it. And when he signed, I wrote it USA Today, and people were like, Mark, you're an idiot. I'm like, he's going to win a Super Bowl. He's going to win another Super Bowl. Yeah. I didn't say it was going to be this year, but I said, look, it's coming. He can still win a Super Bowl. And he did it. Look, this is a man that is driven. He's probably feeling like hell right now in this moment. But tomorrow he's going to get himself an avocado ice cream, little smoothie from the TB12 method, and he's going to start watching film again. And so
I wanted you to speak on this guy because I had trolls like coming at me, and especially after the win. I'm like, I've been saying this for years, defending this guy because I watched the tape. It never lies. Yeah. And this guy is the greatest I've ever seen do it. I had some guy say this, Mark, I'm sorry, and he's probably watching, but he says to me, yeah, I'll give him, he's the GOAT, but he's not the most talented quarterback ever. I go, he's the greatest of all time. That's the epitome. You can't get any, I can't understand America. Like, you have to understand how 3 years old is one. That's incredible. Remember that show in the 80s? Yeah. That's one thing that's incredible. The fucking talent and the decisions and the throws and the toughness and the wherewithal, the venom that people have for this guy, I don't get it. He deserves every fucking rose thrown his way because he did it despite the fucking odds. And when someone has that kind of drive because they've been beaten or overlooked or told they can't do it and they do it, you fucking applaud that person. I mean, don't fucking go any other way.
Phil, my little brand. You've got to be a little crazy to play quarterback to begin with. I'm obviously proof of that. Like, you have to believe that you are the only person on the team that should touch the ball on every single play. Like, there's a selfishness in that's inherent to the position. But to get to the NFL, to be one of the 32 people on the planet entrusted with such a job, you've got to be a completely different kind of cat. To get to that level, that's something different. You know, the great ones find that extra bit of self-motivation that mere mortals like the three of us can't tap into. Whether it's Jordan getting, cut from his high school junior varsity team, whether it's Tom Brady being picked 199, like, you have that ability to go somewhere where others can't. And you don't, and some can tap into that for a season or two. Some can tap into that for a career, a shorter career. Brady's done it over 20 years in the National Football League. And you can make the case that Tom Brady has had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers. Yeah. Like, maybe the first one, like the first dynasty, like,
you're right.
He was carried by the defense, throwing a lot of check downs and screens. Okay. The second where they didn't quite win, but he was putting up ridiculous numbers and they went 16-0 one year. Yep. Like, there's probably a Hall of Fame career there too. And certainly this one, 3 more rings, then another one in his first year with a different organization. So 7 year overall.
And he's not done yet.
He says he's not done.
The other thing that's
I love that.
Yeah. The other thing with him is he's a dying breed in terms of how the position is played. Yeah. Like, he's not the most athletic dude on the planet. He wouldn't be the most athletic dude in a conversation with the 3 of us. But the pocket movement, the footwork in the pocket, the ability to feel pressure, that sixth sense in the back of his helmet, that eye in the back of his helmet where, I can't tell you how many times I've seen every throw that guy has made in his life. I can't tell you how many times I saw him duck under pressure when a guy was coming from the blind side, and you don't know how he saw it, but he saw it. He saw it. Like that's the stuff that he does that, matters still in the national. The ability to get a defender, a post safety in the middle of the field, whose only job is to sit on a post route, to get him to move to one side of the field to cover a seam that he's not going to throw, and then come back and throw that post route where that guy just vacated. That's special. And that's the stuff that he does on every single play. He's still at this point. Every Monday morning, I come down to my office here, and the first thing I do is I turn on film of quarterbacks. And my job is a joy because all I do is watch quarterbacks. He's one of the first guys I watch. Him and Watson and Mahomes are like the first 3 guys I watch every week because they're special at what they do.
Fuck Ryan Pace. There you go. He missed on 2 of them. You can't do it. Mark Schofield, honestly, one last thing, and then we're going to let you go. I just got to say this before I ask you the favor to do a station ID for us because I want it documented that the Tape Never Lies Network, our first time. This guy's my friend. He's a great human being. He knows his stuff backwards and forwards. And the thing about it, he's not afraid to say, I'm a fan of this team, but here's the truth. And those are the guys that resonates with me because that's how I live. And me and Shayne have built this network on that truth. Like, I'm not fanboy. I'm not. David Montgomery is amazing because that's what the tape told me. That's not because he's a bear. And I was devastated with him joking around tonight that he's saying goodbye to Chicago. But it turns out it was a joke, and I'll tell that story in a second. Mark Schofield, though, is an encyclopedia of football as well as quarterback play. And I ask you, Mark, as a favor, to come back once we find out who Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy have decided to put their chips in on, as well as the draft. Obviously, we got
also known as Tyler Bray season, Mark.
Tyler Bray. I kind of see over there those white binders up there are filled with years of quarterback notes. So there's some Tyler Bray takes in there.
Some Tyler Bray takes. Yes,
you know where to find me. Just
I know. I'm just
up the bat signal, buddy. I'll be here.
I love it, and I love you. Let me just ask you to give us a station ID. This is Mark Schofield. You're keeping it 100 with my guys Shayne and Phil on the Tape Never Lies Network. Would that be hard?
The eye in the sky knows all, and the tape never lies. This is Mark Schofield. I'm here with Draft Dr. Phil, Shayne, and the gang on the Keepin It 100 Network, and the tape never lies.
Love it.
No, who's wrong? It's
what?
Keeping It 100's the show, the Tape Never Lies Network. So then you're going to complain to me that he did it wrong tomorrow.
It was close.
It's close enough.
All right,
He's 7 months older than Tom Brady. He's got to get that.
Follow Mark right there. I'll edit it and put it together.
You splice it together. You work your post-production magic. I gave you art to work with. Go do what you do.
He's Mark Schofield. Guys, follow him on Twitter. Let him know. I've already seen at least 11 people that have said, I just followed him on Twitter. That's what I'm talking about. Mark Schofield, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight. Tremendous, tremendous stuff, and really getting you ready for what this is. Who the fuck is our quarterback? That's the name of this show.
That's the name of the show.
He's getting us geared up for 4-12 next year.
Guys. Appreciate you, boys. Love you guys. Be well,
man. All the best. He is Mark Schofield. What a great guy. What a great guest. We didn't bring you in for the Rex Grossman talk because we knew.
I was going to jump in, man. That guy was amazing. I mean, I got a bachelor's degree now in quarterback. This dude is unreal. I think he's using a force with Baby Yoda in the back. He's using a force on his fucking QB knowledge. That dude's unreal. That guy was great. I was having an idea listening to him. We've had so many great guests on this show. We got to
go ahead.
Listen, this is you guys said come up with an idea. I'm coming up with
an
idea.
There we go. He's coming up with
for real.
Ideas.
I think we got to talk to the fans. We got to get something going where we get multiple guests on the show at the same time. I think that would be a good show. You can have this
Multiple
guy.
guests, a little bit more. What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well,
we do
yeah.
multiple guests.
No, on the same show together.
Oh, and have the guests
Together,
talk
yes,
with the guests.
yes,
We could do him and Doug Farrar. They're partners.
You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be a good idea. I think that'd
Bring
be a good
our
show.
guy Barlissimo on too.
The problem is we have smart guys like Schofield on. That's a quarterback guru. We don't really have anything to talk to him about because we're Chicago Bears fans. It's just pain and suffering. But no,
we hope there's hope, as Gary Williams would say.
Hey, look at
There
this,
he is.
guys. Look at this.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Today I would like to show you all my wonderful toys that I got at the Wallingford Walmart. I'm a collector of these items, and today we're going to be talking about He-Man Warrior.
And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head. And I feel it. I need a peculiar.
Angelo.
Megadeth shirt, He-Man. He's just totally bringing it back to the 80s.
Wallingford Walmart.
Wallingford
Can't make that up.
Walmart. He's making it.
Unscripted. He's the best unscripted.
He's our hype guy. If you don't know Angelo by now, he's our hype guy. You see him he was on the last show predicting correctly who scored first, as well as our coach, Tom Brady.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I know I will.
There he is,
Oh,
Angelo.
We got to ask him if he smokes. He smokes cigarettes. We know that.
We know he smokes cigarettes.
He smokes lots of cigarettes.
Somebody's gonna have to smoke a cigarette after Schofield is destroying my dreams and my hopes for quarterbacks. It's very difficult. It's very.
Nerd alert!
There it is. There's our nerd. He's muted. We can't.
Mistake. He's on mute.
We can't hear him.
You know, I have to switch over the plug
He gets
from
his
work to
sister and
play.
he just falls all apart. Doesn't know what to do anymore.
This is terrible. I've had a good run, guys. Thanks for the time. What's going on, Jess?
So did you get to listen to Schofield at all, Cars? Pretty much give us no hope whatsoever for a quarterback in Chicago.
Well, I mean, I think that's the realistic view, right? Because when he started talking about QB5, all I could think about was Cade McNown in the year of the Couch, McNabb, Achilles Smith, Dante Culpepper.
Yeah.
And we ended up with Cade, right?
Yeah,
Like,
we were sitting in the spot to draft Champ Bailey and Angelo, or not Angelo, but Hatley traded down.
Our Angelo.
Yeah, no, not Angelo Marino.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Angelo Marino.
Before we talk about football, I was on Twitter for more today than I think I've ever been. Can we talk about Cohen, Tariq Cohen? He has this thing where he eats banana and mayonnaise on a sandwich.
Yeah, I told him.
Dude, what the fuck?
I replied to him. I said, Tariq, after watching that video, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy just put you back on the trade block, bro. Fuck
Get the
that.
fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That kind of judgment, dude. I don't
He had
know.
like two layers of bananas in that sandwich, too.
I could not finish that video. I was about to throw up.
Bananas
Yeah, it was
and
not-
mayonnaise was the sandwich?
Yeah, dude, he had like gobs of mayonnaise.
It was like
on
a
it,
challenge.
too.
He had people, posting, eating it and trying it for the first time. It was, I don't know. It was crazy. It was weird.
The only thing good about the projected Carson Wentz trade was he was getting traded out of town for me. Not a big Tariq Cohen fan. East-West Bowl, I call him. He's always running east and west.
Mr. Sideline. Yeah.
Yeah,
He always runs out. Always running out.
He runs his mouth, but doesn't run hard. Those types of guys. This is the Matt Nagy thing. It baffles me how you can't understand David Montgomery and how important he is, as opposed to Cordero Patterson and Tariq Cohen and this gimmick shit. Just drives me crazy. Like bananas and mayonnaise. That should be his new nickname.
Elvis ate that sandwich. Okay.
I thought
Elvis Presley.
I didn't think that was
No, it's
bananas.
peanut butter and banana.
Yeah,
with
that he ate,
Elvis.
right.
That is okay.
Yeah. Peanut
That
butter
makes-
and banana makes
That makes more
sense.
sense. Yeah.
Oh, that's like my protein shake. Hey, what about Angelo?
I don't think you could have gotten a worse timed picture on the screen if you tried. Like that, yeah.
Yeah, Tariq puts all of the bananas in the middle and then the mayonnaise on the side. You know,
That
that's what
just
he does. He runs to the side.
I watched some of the videos that people were, because like Claude said he wanted people to make it and eat it and record themselves. A couple of them, oh my god, I couldn't even I couldn't get through it. People were just it was disgusting.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
No, not for me.
Listen, everybody has the opportunity to work their asses off. James Daniels is a perfect example of that.
So you don't want to trade him in the deal for David Carr or Derek Carr?
Why, he was one of the names?
Oh no,
James Daniels.
I saw somebody tweet out that the Bears should give up 2 first rounders and James Daniels to the Raiders for Derek Carr.
Well, and Trent Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, and Trent Williams.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
Oh, we get Trent back.
Yeah.
Oh, a left tackle. No, James Daniels, to me, if you subscribed, become a patron, you would have seen Steve Edwards, myself, and my father breaking down the Bears' interior offensive line. And James Daniels, we all agreed, was your best lineman, followed by Cody Whitehair. So that's where you are. I don't think with an offensive line as bad as the Bears are, that you get better by getting worse by trading these guys out of there. You got to get better there. So listen.
Seal it. Like, he gets healthy and you've got white hair. Like, you've now taken that and made that a complete strength.
Yeah.
And it's finally a strength inside the offensive line that we probably haven't had since, the last Super Bowl run, right? Like,
right.
For all its problems, that was a very solid line. It would be nice to eliminate that and not see Jordan Mills or Jamarcus Webb or any of those folks running out
You weren't
there.
a Bernard Robertson fan, Cars?
I certainly was not. No, he was not a big fan of anyone named Bernard to begin with, I think. So
I mean, think about the offensive lines that we've had, and the one time they get it right after 80s. They go to the Super Bowl again. They picked up Reuben Brown. You had Olin.
Fred Miller.
You had John Tate.
That was the big move. He was a restricted free agent back then.
Remember that?
Yeah.
He was still probably one of the best free agent signings in Chicago Bears history.
Yeah.
In our lifetime.
They tried breaking the bank. Do you remember Blake Brockermeyer?
Blake Brown, number 78.
Yeah, coming from Carolina. Yeah, they paid it. They paid up for him. But yeah,
John, Andy Heck, right? Like those were two
Andy Heck
really
from
good
Seattle
line plays that we've ever done.
Yep.
John Tate. Yeah, that could be a great offseason show. The best free agent signings in Chicago Bears history.
You get 30 minutes, and then that would be about it, right? I mean,
yeah, Frank Omial is not on that list. We could go and have fun at the worst at the second half of the show. The worst free
And we
agents.
could just cover the whole Wanstead era, basically, the second half
Tonight
of the
was
show.
Cade McNown is now mentioned 3 times that we drafted that guy. Senior Bowl MVP.
He was the most NFL ready
NFL
quarterback.
ready.
That's how he was sold. Yeah, back then.
That was his sell.
That was the Dante Culpepper year. I think you and I wanted McNabb, and I think you did too, Carson. Or were you an Achilles Smith guy?
No, I was a Culpepper guy. I liked the cannon. Yeah.
I love Donovan.
I hated Tim Couch. I've always been kind of like the second team I sort of follow is Cincinnati, so I know that any team that or any player that Cincinnati's into is someone that's not going to make it.
You follow the Bears and the Bengals, huh? Good for you.
Yeah, it was when the 2 years I played football, I played safety. I was a taller, lankier guy, so I liked David Fulcher as a kid growing up, who was a bit.
I met David.
Yeah, and
you were Chris Conti before Chris Conti was, right?
No, I remembered to cover my guy though. That was a thing that I kind of specialized in. So,
Maroon. I can't remember. Did Cade McNown go before Culpepper?
No, he was QB5.
Yeah, the Bears were at 7, and they made a huge trade with Washington. Washington took all the picks in the Ricky Williams deal with New Orleans.
Yeah. Now
and then they traded back up with Chicago. I think it was like from 12 to 7. They came back up and took Champ Bailey. We dropped down, and with those picks, we ended up getting like Marty Booker was part of that deal. Cade McNown, I think maybe Roosevelt Colvin. Yeah.
2 good picks later, Colvin and Booker, but you missed on the quarterback again. This is the story. Who the fuck is our quarterback? There was dude, where's my car? Now we're like, who the fuck is our quarterback? That's gonna be the story right now in Chicago and we really, if you didn't get to watch Mark Schofield on with us, he just killed it in regards to breaking down these quarterbacks, fits, free agents, and everything. Now, obviously, things could change, and Carson Wentz and the situation could be something different. But
I just think
dealing with this whole rumor. Go ahead. Who do you think? Gun to your head. What do you think? We'll go around the table.
I think they're in on Wentz, Phil. It's just I do. I think that they're in on him. It just I cannot see. I understand sitting and waiting for a rookie and just building that way. I totally get it. I just don't have the confidence that with this front office, with this coaching staff where they are, I don't think that's the path they're going to take. I think Matt Nagy is dumb and cocky enough to think that him and Flip can unlock Carson Wentz.
Flip is going to be fighting for this guy, right?
Sure. Well, Phil, if Matt Nagy and these guys get launched, Flip is gone too. Let me ask you, because all of these guys.
I totally pissed because that was one question that I fucking didn't ask him. They moved, and you guys can answer this, not you, Claudio. No offense.
No offense, but not you. Yeah.
Okay. DeFilippo, he supposedly got a promotion to passing game coordinator. So he goes from QB coach to passing game coordinator. Now, me as a head coach, I put passing game coordinator as like, okay, I want to silence you a little bit. I want to hear you. But maybe in Chicago, that's something else. Is that what you guys thought?
According to what we heard about Ragone, right? Like he was really key in drawing up passing plays for Matt Nagy. So I don't think passing game in these teams was Matt. Passing game coordinator is a promotion. Candidly, run game coordinator would be demotion because we don't give a shit about that, right? But no, I think he's still maintaining the QB coach title just with added responsibility. So he's gonna have more of a say in the week to week play call sheet.
And think of, the bigger titles that Flip has had in terms of like OC and stuff like that, he's struggled with.
Yeah.
He's been the quarterback coach. And listen, this is what we talked about with our defensive line coach. Sometimes you're just a really good coach. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a really good defensive coordinator. And
right.
I can tweet it out. Go back. I think maybe George Berlissimo was the one that had discovered it initially and tweeted it out, that video of Carson Wentz with Flip during the draft process, where Flip really took charge and asked all the questions. And it was really good to watch. And I mean, if you can search it up on YouTube, I will tweet it out for everybody. But Cars, I'll turn it over to you and see what you can you see these guys, their move being a rookie where they're trading up and go? I can't see it.
So I can, but I think the expense of that is where this comes in, because I think if they take a look at this draft right now, I think 4 quarterbacks are going in the top 10. And I think Mac Jones is quickly falling, 12, 13, right? Like after.
Straight up.
So the cost right now for one of those guys, I think you're talking most likely Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I think that's the way the board is going to fall. I think Justin's going to have a little, everyone's going to look at the last bowl game and be like, oh, see, he's not all that, and kind of ignore everything else. So I think I'm with you that I think it's Wentz, and I think it's going to end up being Wentz because the cost is going to be so much less. I think it is going to be a first round pick, but I think it's going to be next year, and they're going to basically, what they're trying to do is not give up any draft capital for this year, because I've seen a few people tweet about it. They've got one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the building, or in the league. They've got one of the worst tackle situations in the league. Any draft pick that they give up severely limits that chance. So Wentz is going to be the most, aside from a salary perspective, is probably going to be the cheapest guy for them to go get. And so that's really going to be their focus. And the longer this takes, the more his value goes down to anyone outside of Philly. So.
Yeah, and I brought it up with Schofield, and I said, if you're going to be making the investment and paying the premium price to move up cars, just like what you talked about, it's going to be expensive either way. And when you're adding in that expense and rolling the dice, you could be getting QB4 or QB5 in this draft.
You can get QB out of the league in 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the difference. I think it's going to be a veteran, and believe me, it would not stop me from. I would be drafting another guy, even if it's later. I would.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'd bring in another guy that's got the similar traits that isn't.
Well, that's
perfect.
why I asked him about some of these.
Yeah,
he said third-day picks. We'll see how these.
I mean, I'm not
work.
a huge Kelly Mond guy, but that's the type of guy with the traits that you
got to check out my guy Zach Thomas. I don't know how you get Appalachian State. He's not gonna wow you with fucking arm talent, but rhythm and athleticism that you're talking about, Trey Lance. I'm looking at this kid, and I love these kind of quarterbacks like that. So.
We have to rebuild that room. Right now, Tyler Bray is your backup quarterback, right? Because Nick Foles is leaving in most of these deals.
Yeah,
so absolutely, you still gotta.
Mark said there's zero way that you can have Foles here if the move is Wentz. There's no way in hell that you can.
I still think we'll see it by Friday, end of day Friday.
Really?
I think, or Saturday.
You're taking your shot.
Yeah, I think
taking your shot.
I think it's gone down too far, right? Like they're pushing down, and I think Indy has set a value for him, and they've set a value for probably a Matt Ryan or someone else, and I think once one other part moves,
yeah,
Philly's got no other choice, and I think that everyone's trying to get this all lined up right now.
Yeah, Cars, you brought it up last night with me. I think you sent me the tweet, or somebody had tweeted it out saying that they were hearing more and more about Matt Ryan being connected to Indy. And to me, that's a typical Indy move. It buys you time if you get into the rookie quarterback market as a guy to groom under Matt Ryan. I mean, it's essentially a Phillip Rivers type move just to buy you more time, and to trade for Matt Ryan, it's not going to be as expensive as it is to trade for a guy like Carson Wentz, or, I mean, Schefter sticking to his guns and saying that somebody's going to get it. They're going to get a first rounder for Sam Darnold. That's coming from Adam Schefter.
Yeah, I thought second round, in my opinion.
I looked at it as a 2 and a 5 because I figured the Rosen deal.
And realistically, that's what it should be. And that should also probably tell us, though, a lot of where people view this draft, right? Because, this is very similar kind of to the 2017 draft, in which realistically there was one guy who we all knew was more the sure thing. And then every other guy is kind of these traits things, right? Like you don't necessarily love the whole package. Like Trey Lance, you might not love his, I've played 13 collegiate games in a lower conference, but man, does he have a big arm and he can do this. And, Fields, you got to worry about. I thought Schofield did a nice job of dissecting some of the routes, right? But his big game performances haven't been really the best at Ohio State. And so you could sit down and pick these guys apart. If you're seeing Sam Darnold go for a first rounder, that tells you everything you need to know about the way NFL teams view this QB draft. Because there's no way with performance. I mean, Wentz had a bad year last year. Take a look at what numbers Sam Darnold threw up, right? I mean, it's atrocious. If he goes for a first, God bless the New York Jets at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he's locked in more than any of us are, obviously, but I can't see what team is giving up a 1 for Sam Darnold. I mean, he's got the youth on his side. I mean, youth is really his biggest positive, honestly. I mean,
the team that I think would potentially do it, Saints at 28.
Yep.
That's the one where it could make some sense for that. But yeah, because you're talking, it's got to be a back third first round pick for that.
Absolutely.
So guys, a couple quarterbacks you guys haven't really talked about. How about Matt Ryan and Dak Prescott? What do you think chances are?
Everybody keeps on talking about Dak Prescott. Why is Dallas letting him? He's.
I don't know. I'm just.
He's going to be.
People do bring his name up. So
he's getting amped up.
Well, I think there is a chance, but I think it's simply because Jerry Jones is looking more and more like the Emperor in the Star Wars movies than he is a human being right now. I don't think he's all the way there.
Ian Rap Sheet put out a thing. He said it's 100% that they have zero intention of letting him out. The injury is a non-factor in their eyes, and they fully are going to tag him.
In this league, it's fair to say never say never.
Oh, I know, but I just don't know how you get there to let.
Do you like him as a quarterback?
Oh, sure, but I mean, you're talking. That's not going to. You're not going to be giving up if he was unrestricted. That is the move that Chicago would make.
Okay,
because you're not
basically unless they put the. This would be the second franchise tag on him.
Right.
That value
sometimes they might not. They might not.
I can't see it.
Because the salary cap went down for the first time ever. Well, have they defined it? completely yet? Is it
So the
set in stone?
180 to 181 is going to be the belief. So it's not the bottom, but it wasn't. It was closer to the bottom than the top
How
end
are
of
they
the number.
getting that number? That's what I want.
Well,
to find someone in the league that's creating that number, because
well, I think a lot of it is collusion myself. I mean, I
Yeah,
understand these guys
agree.
lost money, but it's like, it's
Thank
like
you.
being a billionaire and you said, all right,
Speak on that shit.
I only made a $500 million this year. You know what I mean? And I made $1 billion last year. So
I mean,
oh my God, we gotta.
Jerry Jones drafted from his yacht that was better than anything else, and he's crying poor right now. Like, oh my God, I had to fire my 7th chef, so now I'm down to
288
6.
million that yacht cost. That's serious. 288
What, the
million.
yacht is 288?
Yes.
That's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
No, his
how
yacht
are
is so
you
big,
putting
he's got a smaller yacht to go to shore with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how big of a yacht he's got.
Think about this. Like, think about your fantasy football league with your friend, your boys, your girls, whatever. Think about that and how you set the buy-in for it. These guys are billionaires. So why is the cap now limited when the league facing COVID? I get what they're going to cry, woe's me, because Greg can't go to the fucking game. But the reality is they have so much money is made in this league.
That's the thing. It's their way to take more away from the players, and that's what the owners are always with the new CBA and all of that stuff. Come on, they're not. I understand that the McCaskies didn't make as much money this year. Jerry Jones didn't make as much money this year. It doesn't mean a fucking thing, honestly.
Exactly.
In the grand scheme of things, I mean, yes, they're in this business to make money, but the fact that they're shaving, what is it, 12 million off of the cap, is that what it is, or 10 million, whatever it is, it's a sham. It's just the way, like I said, it's
it reminds me of fucking
it's 100% collusion to me. It's like this is a way to get it back
hidden
up.
fees in here. It's like, come on, just fucking keep the cap if you want the same, and stay there. If that's the fucking thing you're gonna do.
It's a way to then try to grab power back for the next negotiation, the next collective bargaining agreement. If basically all I do is picture every NFL owner as Scrooge and then watch that, and that's basically it, right? Like, hey, can the players have one more piece of coal? It's fucking freezing in here, and they're counting piles of money going, we didn't sell out 2 games last year, so that caused me, 2 trips on my yacht to the Bahamas. So I can't see myself doing that, and that's what it comes to.
That just gets me so fired up with that kind of.
Speak on Matt Ryan, guys, real quick.
I don't think that's the move here.
His cap number is even more ridiculous than Wentz's. I'll be honest. Indy's in a worse spot than we are. While they have the better line, I think TY is a free agent. They've really struggled at some of the other positions around him. So I'm very fascinated that they're in this play, because I would think that they would be trying to take this time with Brissett to try to rebuild and reload. They're going to have to make some salary commitments. That's really fascinating. I don't like Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback, but that's not, if I were them, I would be trying to move up and get somebody young and start to build this thing fresh. I don't get that move at all for them.
What about us? Are you in a Matt Ryan camp?
Yeah, I mean, look, he'd be the best quarterback we've ever had, right? I mean, that's the hard fact is Matt Ryan walks here, instantly becomes that guy. But
that makes it even more
Hey,
critical.
boys, like my sweatshirt? The tape never lies. That's right. Hey, we getting Carson Wentz? I don't know. I can just tell you this. There's less than a 0% chance that Mitchell Trubisky is back as the Bears quarterback. I hope he goes somewhere and just balls out and plays amazing. Not sure that'll happen. We'll see. We'll see who our Bears get. But how you like my sweatshirt? Isn't that thing sweet? Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil, look at that. Guys, I apologize for cutting you off on the Matt Ryan. I didn't know it just popped up. I was trying to share it.
But what I'm saying, if you make a move like
YouTube.
Matt Ryan, I think it's even more critical that you have to go back and get one in the draft.
Yeah.
To me.
Without a doubt.
But
He with him though, you're cutting more guys than you're restructuring.
Exactly.
Like,
what do you think we're giving up for him?
I have no idea because Atlanta's in salary cap problems too, but he's a much more proven commodity and hasn't been benched. So I would imagine that they would get closer to what Stafford and the Lions probably got, which would be 2-1s.
No way we give that.
But in a Bears world, you're cutting guys to free up that cap space, right? Like you get him, Allen Robinson's not coming back. And you could pick 4 guys on defense that aren't coming back either.
Oh yeah, with Matt Ryan, you're talking
with
about.
Matt Ryan. Yeah, his contract.
If they go get Carson Wentz, I think it's a shoe-in that Allen Robinson's getting at the bare minimum getting tagged to be brought back.
I agree. But I do have a replacement for Allen Robinson. If you would want that tonight, or we could tease it and save it for next show. It's up to you.
We know you're really big on Javon Wims, so we know that you really expect him to step on up and really, he gives your team a fighter's chance every week, right, to get in there and make something happen.
Listen, Cap, showing you the reality of the swag, as you can see me rocking my new zip up hoodie. Thank you, Cap, for giving us a shout out and wearing the gear, because we go out of our way. And those guys over there, led by Alex Acevedo, Jamie at superiorembroidery.net/TTNL with Heather and Chris Sandlin. Guys, go over there, get your swag. We got a lot of people rocking swag, showing me the love, showing Cars and Shayne the love. Look at this. Netherlands rocking that, keeping it 100 swag. My man from Connecticut, Donnie Diz, he's in the fucking chat right now, rocking the TTNL. How about Mikey Tenorelli, the Bachelor? Look at him. Rocking the TTNL swag. Lemuel Stinson, former Chicago Bear.
Look at that wingspan.
Look at that. He had some long arms. That's what made.
Oh, that was NASA swag. That was NASA swag.
Angelo Marino, he is going to be rocking some swag. I ordered him some swag.
Is he going to have a bow tie on too?
I don't know. My boy Chuck right there. Chuck rocking that swag. You rock the swag. How about this one? Claudio. Another Claudio from Canada, the TT.
You got to ground his child, though. Get that Seahawks stuff off.
His son went the other way. What are you going to do? He didn't go. This is what happened. This is why kids go the other way.
Maggie.
There they are.
That is
My
Cody
boy
Parkey
Ray.
in the background. That is 100%. We verified that is Cody Parkey.
My boy Ray from Instagram at Ray Tonics. Let me get this name correct. He is the fucking mastermind behind this Raytronics. Follow at Raytronics. I gotta shout him out for giving me and a lot of my people that love the Chicago Bears a ton of laughs. He is a 100 crew and also a patron member. So look at that. If you're not a patron member, you're going to be missing out this Saturday and Sunday. Double dose. On Saturday, my father and I, Cars, are going to be breaking down the edge rushers on the Chicago Bears. Everyone from my guy, Khalil Mack, to Shayne's boy, Trevis Gibson. We're going to be checking them all out, breaking down the film. Our new guy, Berlissimo, is helping cut the tape because the tape doesn't lie. And we're bringing that show live where we break it down each and every week. And I'll have, now that the StreamYard is upgraded their system. I can actually have clips ready, Shayne, for next week's show to show people what you're paying for. As somebody said earlier, it's the best $7 they've ever spent in their life. And there is breaking news, Shayne. Oh. You got that breaking news drop?
I did until Claudio
Fucking
moved it on me.
Claudio.
It's always my fault. Never mind.
Breaking news. The Tape Never Lies Network. Breaking news.
Breaking news here at TTNL. Well, I figured you would give a fuck about this because patronage now is telling us that you can now subscribe for a year's membership.
Nice.
So no longer do you have to worry about the wife asking you, what's this $7 bill? Are you on Pornhub again, Claudio? What are you doing? Instead, you could pay to play and win on the Tape Never Lies Network the whole year and become a full-on subscription. That just came out literally 10 to 15 minutes before the show began. So I know Shayne fucked up with his dumb drop because he does give a fuck about you guys probably doing a better thing and just paying what's 7 times 12, Claudio. I know you got your GED.
84.
Look at you.
Oh. Yep.
Look at you. So $84. We got to raise this price. I'm serious. For a year, we're going to raise the price because right now, honestly, one more plug here. One more right here. Real quick, Shayne.
This is Bearlissimo of the Tape Never Lies Network. As you can see in the top corner, I'm here. I'm happy to be here. You should be too. And if you don't know how to do that, go to www.thetapeneverliesnetwork.com, subscribe, become a patron, join us every single week as we bring you the best draft coverage. We're going to bring you X's and O's. We're going to bring you rationale and widen that perspective. So from Bearlissimo, or you might know me as George from England from the Kaplan Show, I'm going to say TTNL, TTFN. Peace.
Car. Real quick.
I don't have access to any of that stuff. I mean, good job.
Listen, that's the funny thing. I don't either. So it's never me.
You can't
never
do
my
your
fault.
drop.
When they say it's my
and then,
fault, it's never my fault.
Whenever you can't do your drop and try to blame somebody else for it. That's just
any drop, it's always Shayne. Just so everybody knows. Shayne.
No, that is not. That is
pulling the
not
shit.
true.
Oh,
Not
it is. It is. Everybody wants a quarterback. Everybody loves Angelo. Hey,
Just notice he's drinking ranch.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
I know I will.
The laugh is priceless. I'm sorry.
It is.
Even if only 30% of you find Angelo as funny as I do, then we're winning because I went out for dinner with Angelo the other night where Shayne got that picture and it's 36 wings. Do I have the video? I wonder if I while you guys are talking,
for lunch. If we could do the breaking news drop, but after that, I'm getting wings for lunch tomorrow. That is
there. You go.
Why don't we talk? What do you guys do? We're all married. We're all married. What are we doing for Valentine's Day on Sunday for our wife? You guys do anything special?
Is it Sunday or Saturday?
Sunday, yeah.
I read a thing today. They said that the average male spends $275 for Valentine's Day. I'm like, man, I have a fucking shortchanging that shit.
Yeah.
Really?
My wife just said, and I quote,
$275?
"Do not spend on that stupid Hallmark holiday
Thank
for
you.
me." And I was like,
My wife
"Honey,
is
I
saying-
love you."
I told my
even
wife
more.
when we got married, I said, you pick. We have a wedding anniversary or Valentine's Day. Which one do you want? That's it. There's no both. No more Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is when you're dating, you get Valentine's Day. When you're married, you got a wedding anniversary. That's it.
Yeah, I come home with seafood, and then that makes her happy.
I still get her flowers and chocolate.
Hey, Hila's not a flower girl. She doesn't like flowers or jewelry, so I hit the mecca right there.
Really?
Yeah.
All my wife gets is right here, baby.
Oh.
Right here. So she loses on that deal. Totally loses that.
Yeah. Jenny Braggs bought Greg a shovel for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Rumor is it's because she left his face imprint on the last one when she finally hit him with it.
Yeah, I'm taking Steph out for dinner on Saturday.
You guys with your fancy
Barcelona?
states that are open.
Yeah, we're going to Barcelona. We got the reservation. She was telling me, I just want to go for. She doesn't want all that fancy schmancy stuff, she said. So this is our 10th anniversary coming up. So I got to worry with that this summer. 10th anniversary.
You know what? You could go to the Wallingford Walmart.
Why
See
not?
Angelo there.
We've been there.
Today I would like to show you all my wonderful toys that I got at the Wallingford Walmart. I'm a collector of these items, and today we're going to be talking about He-Man Warrior.
I feel like Jesus is judging us right now.
And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all what's in my head. And I feel it. I need a peculiar.
Didn't work.
I don't know what's better, the He-Man laugh or Angelo's laugh.
It's got to be
Angelo's
laugh.
I'm sorry, but Jesus makes me very uncomfortable.
I was
in
gonna
that
say
photo.
he's got Megadeth on his shirt and he's got Jesus in the back. It's a little ironic.
No,
Yes.
you gotta love Angelo. I was working on uploading this, but it's not giving
I
me.
got,
But I will do
another
it.
Angelo type character that I see at the
Do you?
auctions I go to, and I was working on him to see if he wants to come on. He's a very unique, special person. So it would be pretty funny.
No one's better than Angelo.
No,
our hype
Angelo
guy.
is the man. No doubt.
No,
He is the man. He is.
He's more legend than anything now. Like he has crossed over from myth until pure legend.
I gotta see if this works. It says, whoops, it doesn't like the file. I don't understand. I will try to work on it though. I have great video of Angelo ordering wings that I wanted to share, but it's not working right now. I'll get it to work in a few. But that being said, guys, this
Hello, everybody. My name is Angelo Joe Marino, and I'm with the TTNL show. I'm the hype man, and tonight we'll be featuring the quarterback, Mark Schofield, on the show. And we also are going to feature Cool Kennedy on the show as well. It's going to be a great show, so let's watch it. All right, everybody. It's going to be a good one.
there he is. Giving some hype. Giving the hype with Angelo.
TTNL Flava Flav is doing quite well. I'm very proud of him.
Nice.
Well, he is talking about our next guest. I'm waiting for him to come on and jump in on the show. This guy has been doing some music stuff for us, as you could see, on X's with the O's, the shout out song that comes up next. There is no, what do you call it? There's no tweets of the week this week, and Claudio cut it out. He's been cutting it out.
I got a
since
haircut for
season.
Icy. He wants a haircut. Hit me up, man. I'll get you an appointment. No problem.
He'll get you an appointment. No problem. Well, that's what Claudio does. He does the haircuts. I don't know if he does it real quick. I don't know if he does it real quick, but listen, this guy coming up next is the guy you hear on the shout out song, the X's with. You hear that, you hear this guy. Let me play a little I want to see if this works. For God's sake, this technology. Screen.
Did you reboot it? Did you plug it in?
Plug it in, plug it in. I'm just trying to get some music to share behind. Can you hear this?
Nope.
No, it's not playing. Nope, it won't play.
Fun with computers.
It's not playing. Sucks. Well, I'll just have to play them in without it. It's not playing
Let
on
me
that.
get some music. Let me share a screen. Get some
I wanted to play his music.
Oh,
this
gotcha.
is the beat guy.
Yep.
Can you hear it now?
Yeah.
Yep. All right, there we go. Let's go back here. This guy is dropping music, dropping beats like this. You hear me talking about him all the time. Now we're finally going to put a face to the music. Our new music guy, producer on TTNL, my boy, Cool Kennedy, in the house tonight. What up, Cool? Cool Kennedy. He wants me to spit bars on this lyric. I mean, maybe we should have you spit some bars on this. You have to unmute your mic. We can't hear you. I'll
You're on
unmute.
mute.
There's a mute in the bottom.
You gotta hit the.
You got it.
There you go. Now
There
you
you
go.
I just hear crazy feedback though.
It's too
You
loud.
hear it for crazy feedback? Well, I can
Yeah.
turn it down because you're watching it. You have to
Yeah.
turn off the fact that you're watching the show.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's what they call in the radio business the Greg Braggs rule.
I was
You gotta
watching it.
actually-
Yeah, I was definitely watching it.
Yeah.
On live. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's going
What's up,
on?
man?
Man, enjoying the show, enjoying everything about the show, man. You guys got a great product going. And the guest was crazy.
Yeah.
Information, quarterback, knowledge, and he enlightened me, man. You guys are doing it, man.
So what is your quarterback move for the Bears?
Ooh, the quarterback move for me, man. I definitely love the fact that there's O-line opportunity. So, like, that's the main focus. That's how you build a future. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of what's going on the quarterback situation, that's an obvious problem. But if you got Pat Mahomes back there, what's going on up front? Like, that's how you build your team. The reason I started watching you guys because I seen that angle that you had, that NFL angle. You know what I mean? Where it's like that side view, the presentation view, man, it's not the same when you get to analyze what's going on and what are the problems. Like, as soon as you had that back view, I was like, wow, you got to see
Coach's angle.
everybody taking turns messing up. And you get to see, man, like the word of the offseason is culture. You know, for me, the word of the offseason is culture because, man, this is a hard time for Chicago Bears fans, and there's no way to truly build without building that O-line. You know what I mean? Like, it's the number one concern.
100%.
I hear you.
That left tackle, man. Whew.
Yeah.
Your
Wow.
boy,
People in the
the
chat.
Walrus.
Yeah.
Darisaw for president. Darisaw for president. All right.
People in the chat were talking about Orlando Brown, Phil. Guys, what do you guys think about that guy? You think we can get him?
Well, listen.
He's a great football player.
Yeah, it's a package deal. If you can flip a future one in a potential Carson Wentz deal, so you have number 20 overall available to make a move like that for an Orlando Brown. So you're bringing in Wentz and then a viable left tackle right there with number 20 overall. That's the way that you have to look at it.
Exactly.
I mean,
I like that Jacoby Brissett point.
You like that?
You know, I mean, he's under the radar, but like he's solid. He's solid. You know what I mean? Where it's like I didn't think about that. He kind of went under the radar for me. I didn't think about him, but
That's what we do at this channel, and that's why we added you, because you can hear in your music. Again, tonight I had a conversation with Rashad Whitfield. He was our guest last week. He's tremendous. When I heard the news of David Montgomery with that tweet that Shayne, you see this shit? I go, what? I'm editing.
No, I
the
called.
intro.
I
He
called
called me, and I'm like,
His
no.
exact words were, "Fuck this guy." Talking about Ryan.
I was gonna kill P. I would have drove to fucking Chicago because that's the untouchable right there, the untouchables. And then I texted Rashad, and then I called him. He called me back. He's like, Phil, I just got off the phone. He's just playing around, man. He's just having fun. He's like, and Shayne got mad about him trolling, but then it put into perspective after talking to him how much me and Rashad think alike. And we were just talking, and that's how I feel about this man here, Cool Kennedy. Just the vibe of music and what this show, this network, and everything about it meant to you, CK, and you just, giving a vice to put my voice on things with you. I mean, that was so much fun to do that. But really, the X's and O's song with my dad and capturing things, what this network means, where we're going, like we're just scratching the surface. Me and CK are talking about a mix album from this network and things that you could download, and really ultimately the creative stuff that we have planned in regards to music, football, comedy, laughs, fantasy football. Shayne and I were discussing a fantasy football show for next year with Berlissimo, talking about the patron fantasy football leagues and having divisions. I'm not going to say any names, but me and Shayne would have a group of patrons in a division playing with our division, and if they win that division, they play Cars's division, and you'll be under these divisions representing us, and it'll be a lot of fun where we can get a lot of people involved in the fantasy end, as well as producing a fantasy show with some of you guys that really think you want to do this, and you're great at fantasy football and you have the right equipment to talk, then let us know, because that's where we're going in the future, because Claudio doesn't have the fucking time. He can't cut. Once he hit cut it out,
You got 4 kids. You got 4 kids and you own your own shop. You're pretty fucking busy.
Hey man, I got 2 kids. I got 2 kids, and it feels like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I got 4, 25. So it's just math.
Well, one of yours is out of the house, so you should be good,
Yeah,
Carl.
wait, out of the house doesn't mean that there ain't no drama. Are you kidding me?
So anyway, this network has big plans. I want you, the fan, to be a part of it. CK was a fan of what we did, what I did with the tape, and the tape never lies. Draft Dr. Phil reached out, sent me some beats, and that's where it went. I've had a lot of music people reach out to me. You just got to follow through like this dude did, and just go after it. And here we are. And really, I wanted to bring you on because the guys have never met you. I've talked to you, but now to put a face to the beats and the music and the ideas of where we're going, and it's just exciting. And you love the game and the Bears, so you have a great heartbeat tapped into this. So I wanted to get you on the show, introduce you to the people. Angelo was hyped when he heard your music and beats. He was hyped. Claudio was hyped.
I'm always hyped. What are you talking about?
You were hyped about.
We might have to do a remix with Claudio on that. The smoke weed every day. We might have to do that.
Yeah,
Do
gotta
that.
do it up. That's what I'm
Gotta get
talking
together
about.
and do that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Angelo needs to make an appearance on that one.
Where are you from?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Angelo singing and rapping will be a tremendous off-season try. All right. Let's see if he could do it. I mean,
Can we
Shayne
use-
says he could spit bars too.
Can we use this beat for Angelo?
Sample it.
This dude has made some miracles with music. I
Yeah.
give him an idea. Where little behind the scenes stuff. Like, Phil, what are you thinking? Like, I don't want to ruin the surprise of what we're doing now, but I'm like, okay, reggae sound and some jazz, but I need a boom bap beat so I could flow on it and come up with a nice hook. I got you. So that's what he's working on now. So I can't wait to hear what he comes up with. And
I got that done. It's just I reevaluate it. I don't like to just throw it out there on the first try. I gotta reevaluate. I gotta let it simmer. I gotta put the spices on it. You know what I mean?
Well, there you go. You don't.
No,
have
we don't
Greek
use
diner
spices
menu?
here. We don't, so I don't understand what any of that means. Is that like a little bit of salt, maybe some pepper? I don't understand.
I mean, you know, bellissimo. You know what I mean? Like the flavor. It's called flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're not familiar with that around the Midwest here. Yeah, sorry.
CK, you got to get that ass song somewhere in there.
That's what someone's requesting.
What's that dude's name again? Mark what?
Mark Rebele.
Yo,
People went down Mark Rebele.
He's cold.
I went down the rabbit hole with this dude for a couple hours just watching his videos. That dude is so talented. It is.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of
Crazy.
stuff. There's a lot of. He'll do like a live thing, and people will just call in and give him just say an idea, and he'll riff for 6 minutes and come out with just crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah,
that's musical fortitude right there. When you get an idea and you just go with it, you let it control what's happening next. You know, it's musical fortitude right there.
If you see him on Sway, he was on Sway and they were having the technical issues, and he's so calm in that pocket, because I know I would have been flipping out because you want your mic, you want the shit to work, but then he gathers, and the way he harmonizes, it doesn't even sound like him.
Yeah,
but it's his voice that different, and it's so amazing how he puts these things together. And really, ultimately, I will set a challenge that popped in my head when Claudio said to this guy, gotta get these right. I think you got to take right now, not this second, but things from our show, and I'm going to let you do it, and you just put all of the things that we've talked about this season in the show, like funny shit, like Angelo and Claudio's cut it out, and this guy's so impressive, guys, in what he's able to do. I don't blow smoke.
Yeah, the stuff you've done
lyrically and
appreciate it.
What he's producing. I really think your job is to, in the next couple weeks.
It was so good. He emailed me, and I was listening to it before I had even sent it to you, Phil. And I'm like, oh fuck. He called me Sean Marstoff.
I'm sorry.
I felt so guilty. I'm like, do I email it back? I'm like, fuck, I gotta email it back. He's like, I got you, bro. I got you.
He
It was
loves
like,
that, though.
It was
That's
like
what I love about
5
this
minutes
guy.
later. He had it corrected. But oh my god, it was
like that.
yeah, it's so good.
And he and I'm speaking for you. You're here, so you could speak on it yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about football, and then shout outs with your song that you produced for the network. He even has a cartoon that I'm producing a special open for. I wanted it to be done for tonight, but I got sick, guys. I was struggling with this stomach thing that just destroyed me for 2 days, but didn't hurt. You were off. All right. You never. It's always Shayne.
It's the bubble guts stuff. It's called the bubble guts.
Yes.
Yeah, too many peppers, right?
I don't know what it was.
I was talking to Phil. I was talking to Phil today while I was at work, and he's like, "Bro, my fucking stomach's so fucked up." And he's like, He's telling me what he wanted. so filled up with garlic and what the fuck was it called?
No, I was like, what was I saying? Oh, I was telling you about Mufungo.
Yeah,
Mufungo. I was like, you got to try this Mufungo.
His stomach's all fucked up. I wouldn't be filling it up with garlic and all
I was
this other
just
shit.
telling you, he's never tried, and my wife tells me it's a Dominican dish. Some Puerto Ricans tell me it's a Puerto Rican dish.
Puerto Rican too.
Somebody tell me in the chat or wherever in the comments, Mufungo. Now, it's one of my favorite dishes of all dishes. It's in my top 10.
Yeah, because we were talking about taking the wives to Dominican. Remember when everything clears up?
And I was like, mofongo, you gotta have it. I'm describing it to him. I'm like, but it's so garlicky. It's so. He's like, you don't want to be eating that now. I was like, no, I ain't.
According to
even
Wikipedia, it is a Puerto Rican dish.
Oh, a Wikipedia now. The Dominicans are gonna be fired up. So yeah, but
They probably do it differently though, like little different spice. But yes, it's islands, you know.
You keep using
Oh
this
my
word
God.
spice. I don't understand what any of that is. I don't get it.
White
Salt and pepper.
Sorry.
spice in your ass.
I can't help myself. Sorry.
Listen, we talk about everything on this show and music. I'm going to give you 2 shows you got to watch. The Servant, which is on Apple Plus.
We started watching that.
Holy shit. You got to watch that show. M. Night Shyamalan, Shyamalanga Ding Dong, whatever. You got to check that shit out. It is a lot of twists and turns. I'm on the first episode of season 2. I think we finished last night. Great show. And then this show, I just fucking buried through it in the last day with my bubbly stomach, CK. And it's what is it? Alice in Borderland on Netflix. It's a Japanese movie series. I'm telling you, the twist in this show is crazy. If you don't like a twist, Claudio, it's right up your alley. You're gonna fucking
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Alice in Borderland. Check it out. Let us know next week. Start watching these shows. Let us know.
There's no football now, so
we're gonna be bringing some of these talks.
Watch TTNL and you watch shows. That's it.
Exactly. That's what you and the draft stuff. And this Sunday, Barlissimo, Shayne, myself, maybe Cars, we'll be talking a little draft for you patrons. So become a subscriber. We're planning on the name of the show. We don't have a name yet. Yes, Alice in Borderland is amazing. Check it out. Definitely great stuff. This Sunday, Shayne, Barlissimo, maybe Cars. We're going to be talking to the draft. Saturday, my father and I, X's with the O's, the intro song by right here, Cool Kennedy, who is what I'm going to have to think of a great title for you. Not music director.
This is where it all started with CK right here, Phil.
Live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Chicago Bear coverage looking like the 3-4. Study film analysis you never seen before. They bring it to you live. Passion and stats. Roquan Smith 52 Khalil Mack. QB sacks. Nagy need a new plan. His offense sucks. He should stick to selling shoes, man. Hope the defense can hold us down. Maybe if he could roll out money, Mitch could throw a touchdown. If the coach keeps calling dumb plays, the fans want him out. Gotta beat Green Bay. Apply pressure on Rodgers, fight each play. Tell Claudio to chill and smoke weed every day. Dissect the game plan with Shayne, Mark Saul. Nagy gotta check the tape, but won't tell us what he saw. 39 playing soft, too busy counting checks. Coach Atosha said you gotta play with love and respect. Like, there's our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive. Bears our life. Bears our life. We go on live right after Bears games with your boys Draft Doc and the smartest man alive.
Cool Kennedy.
Kidding me?
I was feeling like that beat. I was feeling like a little Lupe Fiasco-ish. You know what I mean? Like the Chicago kick and flow. You know?
Yeah, you took
That was awesome.
our Bears Hour Live song and did a remix that ends every Bears Hour Live moving forward, and that's what like that moment in Jerry Maguire. You had me at hello. That's where I was like, this dude gets me.
And that's really what it was. Because when I first started following you, you had mentioned music, and then I heard the songs, and I had the song stuck in my head. One time I was singing with my daughter, I was just singing I was singing it, and she started repeating it, and I was like, it's catchy. Where my daughter is picking it up, she's 2. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I got to redo it. Like not to redo it, but like out of respect.
Oh yeah. Nothing but respect. Like I'm not. Listen, I get a lot of people sending me stuff, and listen, I love it. I really do. I listen to everything and read everybody's stories and their analysis. I try to interact with everybody. Freeman McNeil, I've told that story. That
Quest
is
definitely
that hit me because listen, I opened up for Tribe. These are real stories. You know, people laugh or whatever. I was talking to Rashad, and I'm like, my life is like Forrest Gump. And before Shayne hits, I don't give a fuck. But I would just say this, you know, I love people and I love football. And when you combine music in there, which I love, and food and shows, that's where this network stands alone. And anybody that's known Shayne and I from the old network, now coming here, you know me. I'm going to fucking say my truths, and I'm going to bring hip hop, and I'm going to bring things that I like and people that I like. That's why Angelo is here. That's why Claudio's here. That's why Cars is here. This is a family, and that's why you're here now, because of talent like that. You know, I take it as a compliment, and I'm in awe of you. Seriously. I can rap. I can come up with any hooks. I can do it. But there's a talent that somebody sits there and is able to compose and put together. I don't care if it's samples or it's old music combining with new. You hear something, and that's what it resonated with me. And I'm so proud, seriously.
Salute.
To
Respect.
have you on the network with us. You know, this is where we're going with it. And
most people only relate on one thing. Like most people only relate on football, on music, but that's where you had me, man. You know, like pause, you know what I'm saying? But that's where you sold music, sports, football, Chicago Bears. I'm sold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt.
Well, you're a diamond in the rough, like Aladdin, you know? That's where you're coming in, and obviously I got to put you to work. You know, people hear stories, but I just and I'm a slave driver or whatever. I just expect people to do and step up in the pocket and deliver. Claudio is on thin ice. He really is. He came up with cut it out, and that's it. Cut out.
That wasn't good enough.
We're about to do this remix, though. We're gonna do this remix. He's gonna prove himself, and we're gonna get back to it.
All right, that's what I want to hear. He's gonna come back. I want to hear just you privately. Now, here's your 2 jobs, because it just popped in my head. This is how it worked. Obviously, I want you to do a song about the network from, you know, the season that just passed. This is the network in its infancy. So any catchy shit, Alex Acevedo is a good.
You know what you got to do? You know what the move is? You got to do it and include like some of the big plays, but name the players. And then when we put it out there, we tag the players. That'll get it to, you know, that's how you do it.
Players,
whatever you come up with, come up with something for Tyler Bray. It's going to be dope. We'll tag him.
He's going to be our starter next year.
The savior has been on the roster this entire time, and none of us knew. It's just like what's his name?
Aaron Rodgers was behind Favre. Bray was behind Trubisky. I mean, it's the same thing.
It's just like that guy was Kaiser Soze the whole time, and no
Claude-
one knew
Claude
about
just
it.
fell
That's what
through that
that's what
ice, I
Bray
think,
is.
Phil.
This is what I want. Yes, the Bears, but also the network. So catchy things like Claudio's Weed Every Day, how you put that lyric. Obviously, everyone knows that came from this show. Shayne, whatever, something Shayne says, like that's an issue. I know he says that. Like, orange, he says.
Orange.
Whatever. My Real Quicks and Cars is Nerd Alert, whatever incorporated with it. So that's one job. And then the other thing, the challenge, is you and Shayne privately do a song released this summer. So I'll give you plenty of time because he says he could spit some bars.
I didn't say a
He's
lot. I can do it. I'll surprise you.
He's totally allowed your help in writing the lyrics and everything. I just want to see the performance.
Okay.
If he can add anything he wants he can add Claudio, anybody from the network. But I want to hear this. But I don't want to be involved.
We're gonna get Cars in there too.
That would be
Cars.
Nobody wants that. I'm
yes,
gonna be
I
like
do.
the only bars I could do is gonna be like the decimal points and pi, right? Like
I know
that's about the bars that go.
Cars' rap name is gonna be MC Spice.
There you go.
Salt,
For a
salt,
freaky
right?
spice.
Salt,
What is
yeah.
it?
Powder.
Okay, yeah.
Who's the spice?
MC
from?
Powder.
Pussycat Dolls. Where's there spice in there?
Actually, when we were playing all the shit for Mark Revelate, Car's wife thought that we were taking shots at him because she's like, "Did they think you look like him?" And I'm like, "No, we didn't even think of that."
You don't want to
think
anger
of
that
that.
much. She will come out to Connecticut and whoop
I
somebody's-
love your wife. I've requested her now. We're friends on Facebook. I never knew your wife till now. We have the same wife's name. Look at that.
Really?
What's the odds of that? So there you go. Now,
don't anger her. That's all I ever say. Like, don't give her water after midnight, and don't anger her. That's really
Isn't that
about
every
it.
wife?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Gremlin.
So Shayne, what we're gonna do is collaborate.
There
No,
you
let's
go.
do it.
That's
Never
the
heard
word,
of it.
man.
That could be the name of the song. That could
Yeah,
be- you
Spit
can
out
even
some
get
lyrics and find a quarterback.
some fucking Ted Phillips in there, for God's sake.
We can
Exactly.
do that.
So
I'll
there's
surprise
there
you. I'll
go.
surprise you.
And obviously, we got to come up with a name for some of these shows that we're going to have. So you'll be involved in that. And any fans that want to get down, I'm thinking of ways to incorporate the 100 crew. Patrons, exactly. The patrons that are subscribed. You're a patron yourself, CK, and you're on the network. There's a bunch of you that have done that. That showcase right there is love. Like, wow. That gets me every time when I see like $4.99. He's paying, but he's also helping out. And Alex Acevedo, our guy Jeremy. That's Claudio. He's not.
Yeah, we need to retire. We need to retire that.
I'm not even on right now. I'm looking at YouTube right now. So chill out.
Oh, there you go. All right. So, real quick, where is the real quick drop, Shayne? The real quick, real quick, meaning you saw the show, you enjoyed Mark, obviously, but you love this football team, the Chicago Bears. So before we move on to shout outs and your song, who's your choice, CK? If you had a choice at quarterback, obviously you liked what I was talking about with my guy, but is there anything else that you are feeling? Is there a guy in the draft you really want?
Welcome to the family. We had to break him in the right way.
Yeah.
It's like a fraternity. It's like a fraternity.
It's a paddle, bro. It's the fucking paddle.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me, sir. Might have another, right?
Well played, sir.
Oh man, my concern is the O-line. Like, and regardless who's at quarterback, they're going to make a decision. They're probably going to do some outlandish stuff that I disagree with personally. So my thing is, like, if I'm the GM, it's O-line. I'm looking at somebody from Alabama, one of those big boys. That's it. That's it. Somebody, whoever's going to be behind him is good. This is going to be the rebuilding year, but they're not going to call it that, but it is because this is their last line. If they don't succeed this year, people are going to be gone. What's the next coach going to deal with? He's got to have somebody to put behind the line. That's regardless. So whatever happens, whatever the scenarios, I'm drafting a lineman first round. With that 20 pick, you said like somebody could fall. I would say if there's a quarterback available for second day, third day, I need a lineman first day.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what their plan is if they do. I mean, with them potentially, rumor has it that they want to include the 2022 first rounder to Philly in a Wentz deal. So that would open up number 20. I mean, to me, they're clearly
gotta get it
going to be focused on. I mean, you're talking about, it could be like you're talking about like Leatherwood.
Leatherwood.
From
I like that name. That name.
Leatherwood.
It's like
that sounds like a song.
Yeah. It's smooth. It's real smooth.
Yeah.
Sounds like an incense, like leatherwood.
Steph calls Phil's old ass no wood. I don't know what that's all about.
Pause.
I don't give a fuck that he smokes weed. They all smoke weed.
Smoke weed every day.
That might help. Yeah.
I gotta burn some Leatherwood when Claudio smokes. Listen, this right here, for those of you listening on the podcast, is our next segment. Claudio's got the background music, but this is the actual original song for this segment, Claudio. Don't play it.
Gotcha.
Done by this man, Cool Kennedy. Real quick. What was your inspiration for this song? Because you really just did it on your own, and then you added me in there. It's the first time I've ever sounded like Tupac to myself. I'm like, oh my God, I started flowing like Tupac, but it just
you notice Phil goes to the top of the food chain immediately.
No, I never. He doesn't understand. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my style to rap like him. But if you listen, you'll understand.
Because it's heartfelt. If you put Tupac, that's heartfelt music. That's heartfelt rhythm. That's all that is.
I was like, I gotta drop some bars with you on this and go like that. So real quick, what was your inspiration for this beat?
This show, like the guitar beats that you use, the guitar samples, like I felt that zone. And then definitely like the shout outs, man, you put the fans first, you put everybody that supports the network first. So it's the shout outs to everybody who matters. That's it,
I couldn't have said it better myself. Here it is. Cool Kennedy's shout out song on TTNL.
Tape never lies. Shout out, I know you hear me, baby. Shout out, I know you see me, baby. Shout out, we gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew, gotta show love too. Shout out, I know you hear me, baby. Shout out, I know you see me, baby. Shout out, we gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew, gotta show love too. From the fans in the stands to the follows on the gram. Thanks for your support, showing love in the DM. We stay Spencer strong, fight together till the end. Now it's time to shout out worldwide friends and fam. Like
the network that keeps it real, 100 crew. So many in the world that I gotta show love to. For some this part, see the show is at its end. But for me it's so important to thank the charter members and the fans. Built the network, speak the truth through the tape. Never run around the truth, no narratives we create. Set them straight, no bubble screen on 4th and 8. Claudio Shayne getting nervous cause keeping them up too late. That's it, no more to say that get the shot of vital. But hurry up cause the postman's getting homicidal. Shout out,
I know you hear me, baby. Shout out, I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. We gotta show love too. Shout out. I know you hear me, baby. Shout out. I know you see me, baby. Shout out. We gotta holla at you. Keep it 100 crew. We gotta show love too.
The network that keeps it real. Spencer Strong.
There you
Sorry,
go.
that end there, you gotta change that. That should just.
He doesn't like that.
That song though is like some baby making music though. That shit. I love that. That shit.
I'm sorry, I don't hear Phil's voice.
Kid was just complaining that he's got no time and now talking about slapping
exactly.
the baby batter.
Oh man. Oh, pause it.
Avon Walker, who also is at this network because of the music and the original. I got something in my throat. Jesus. That's what she said.
Pause, yeah.
CK, how long you been making beats, man? How long you been making music?
Man, since I was in high school, I started on FL Studio, then graduated to Logic Pro. I would say, about 15 years, 16 years.
Oh, nice.
Great stuff. I love that song. I'm sorry. It's just great stuff. It captures the energy and the reason why we do this segment right here. Spencer Strong, for those of you just watching, not listen or just listening, you got to see the video because you see Spencer himself in there at the keyboards. And it was funny that he's actually playing the chord that's in the song accidentally in that video. So It just spoke to me to make sure that it's a part of that. So you're amazing, a producer. We're so proud to have you here. I can't say it
Thank
enough.
you. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So every week the show ends, obviously, with the shout outs led by that song that you produced. I'm so proud and lucky to be upon it. So we'll have to get a beat here by you.
Okay.
Instead of this beat that Claudio puts up to cover the shout out segment. And we're going to give it to our guests first. You're going to lead us off tonight. Your first appearance on the show. First
No
of
pressure.
many.
No pressure.
But you got all the time you would like. Shayne's not going to get postal yet.
Nope.
Giving your shout outs.
We don't do
That's a vote of
enough. We don't
confidence.
do enough postal worker jokes on this show. I think we got to get some more postal worker jokes.
So go ahead, Cool. Who do you got to shout out tonight?
I definitely want to shout out my daughters, Gianna, Rebecca, my wife, Ebony, and my family. My brother Nigel, who's at Iowa State, which is, he's a Cyclone along with David Montgomery. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So he's watching too. So shout out to my family, my mom, everybody. Love you.
Great shit. I love the
shout
shout out.
That's how you wrap it up quick, Phil. Right there.
Yeah, well, he kept
Small
it short.
circle, right? Small circle.
He had his family, man. And he deserves the shout out. Cars. You got a sister now. Every week you can
I
shout
know.
her out.
I do, and she listens every week. And as a Packers fan, I have no idea why she does, but I digress. I'd like to thank everybody for the entertainment, for freaking out about the David Montgomery tweet. That was a good 20 minutes of pure hysteria for me.
Yeah.
Love that. I'd like to shout out Mark Rebele. Thanks everybody again for the interactions on Twitter. Part of the thing that I love about the crew is how interactive everybody is, how involved everybody is. A lot of folks have reached out and shared their stories with me, and it's something I truly enjoy about being part of this show. So that's it for me.
That's awesome, man. Just keeping it short, man. I love it. I know Shayne does.
That's right.
Claudio,
Claudio.
we've got your 45 minutes coming, so we've got to
Claudio.
keep it wrapped
Exactly.
up.
Yeah, we'll make it real quick so we can get to Phil. No, of course, my wife and kids. I always do that every week. It's something I have to do. But my customers that come in every day, I just want to say thanks to all of you. Some of them watch. I tell them about the show. They're like, they're not even Bear fans, but they do watch. They're like, everybody's cool on there except for Shayne. He's an asshole. That's what they say. This is just what smoke weed every day. But no, shout out to everybody in the chat. Obviously, you guys are great, and that's it. And CK, bro, it's great to meet you. Shout out to you, man. Your shit is dope for real.
Appreciate it. Salute.
Yep.
Shayne, Money Man Marsaw.
I've been called worse.
For my meal kit delivery, I chose the vegetarian.
Claudius not doing his
Thanks
job.
for the meal.
I was doing my shout out.
Your meal kit.
You
Tell me.
still gotta have a
what.
hand on the keys, man.
You're right. Let me go back real quick.
I'm like, I was getting ready to talk. I heard something.
Real quick. That was done by Alex Acevedo.
Yeah.
Look at that. Real quick. He still doesn't have his beat up. Look at him.
Got it.
He's dropping the ball like Josh Bellamy on third down.
Oh, God.
Whims. That whims drop.
Oh, the whims drop.
How about? Did you see the meme with Bernie doing?
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
I did. But no, I'll shout out all you guys here. Great show tonight. Cool Kennedy. I'm glad got a chance to chop it up with you a little bit. I know I've interacted with you via email mostly, but nice to put a face to the words that we've been exchanging. It's going to be a big couple of weeks here coming up for this franchise. Cars thinks something goes down by Friday, and I want something settled, a direction, so we know, because it's
Friday.
Listen, you can say I totally agree you got to build the offensive line, but at the end of the day, I always point back to the Dallas Cowboys had the best offensive line in the NFL for a lot of years, couldn't win a playoff game because today's NFL, it's all about the quarterback. You have to have that first and foremost, and then build from there. Where this team is different, like we all said, they're at the end of their rope. I just don't see them building it the right way that it should be built. They're going to make big, drastic moves like CK talked about. Maybe we don't all agree with them. And I would be pretty surprised if Carson Wentz is not a Chicago Bear here sometime soon.
This guy's picked it every year. He's been right. Since with the big name, the big move, you've done it.
I talked about it a couple of weeks ago before this firestorm. Even to me, Cars, you heard me talk about it when they drafted Jalen Hurts. I'm like, this is going to be the move that Chicago makes next year. This was the last draft for Carson Wentz. I just always thought that was the move. It's an imperfect move. There's a lot of baggage there, like Schofield said, injury history, where he is, his mental capabilities at this point, because if you don't have confidence, you don't have anything.
These days are nice.
Yeah, we saw that at quarterback, but we got a lot of shows coming up to cover that.
Oh yeah!
I'm going to shout out my baby boy Riley. He's got a birthday coming up here. He's going to be a big 10-year-old, doing a lot better than Daddy did. Got home yesterday and he won student of the month at his school. So that
congratulations.
That was, you see the little guy doing good stuff like that, something that Daddy never touched for sure. So, you always want your kids to do better than you did. But told Cars, I'm like, what a little nerd. I never even came close to that. And he's bagged 2 of these the last 2 years. So no,
it's taking after Uncle Cars.
Yeah, right. Yeah, see? But no, gotta shout him out when they do good things like that. You wanna praise him because it's well worth it. And he is a lot smarter than Daddy. So love you, little guy, and keep up the good work.
Beautiful stuff.
Okay, let me have 36.
36. You could split it up for 3 flavors.
All right.
There he is.
That's a lot of work.
Hi, everybody.
Sure
We're here at Sliders with my friend Coach Phil and his 2 boys. stay here in Devon, and I'm gonna order my beautiful wings.
36. He ordered 36 wings.
36.
He ordered 36.
Yeah.
Here's the picture. You gotta tell the tell him the ranch story, Phil.
Oh my God. So I got to shout out Angelo, and then I'll
Yeah.
tell the story. Angelo is such a good sport, gets it, understands it. He was going to come on tonight, but he'll be on next week, you know. Make sure we got through the show. He'll sidetrack us for another 2 hours, for God's sake. But yeah, so here, so Angelo comes in with his cousin named Angelo. So we have two Angelos, which at some point this offseason, they're going to come here. So they'll be live from my studio. And Angelo and Angelo come in and they're talking about the wings. And Angelo's cousin Angelo says, "Oh, let me tell you, the ranch here is watered down." I go, "What?" He goes, Angelo translate. I heard him, but I was like, "What?" You know, Coach, the ranch is watered down here. It's not. He pulls out this big fucking jar of ranch, puts it on the and they got their own ranch for their wings because it's watered down there. I kid you not.
Their own ranch.
And the whole thing, the waitresses were coming over. This guy, I can't believe he's single because all the waitresses loved him.
The best part of the video was though, and Phil cut it off before it got there. The waitress goes by and Angelo's like, "Hey, waitress." Phil's like, "Hey, you don't call her waitress, Angelo. Just ask her what her name is."
I'm coaching him in the middle of.
Like,
I'll
okay,
play it.
what's
I'll
your
play
name?
it on the
What's your
way
name?
out.
I'm Angelo Joe Marino.
I'm sorry. I love this kid, and he's
Real
just,
quick. Do the
Yes.
thing here. Phil and I were talking today. With
What's
your
that?
wings. Are you guys team blue
Oh,
cheese?
yeah,
or
yeah,
team
we're gonna-
ranch? I'm team blue cheese.
Blue cheese.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, blue chease.
Blue cheese.
Cars.
No, man.
Yeah, cars.
Just Nashville hot, man. That's all I care about. I don't want any dipping. I just want to taste the heat on the wing. That's it.
Spice.
That's
I
it.
do blue cheese and sriracha. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
look
hear
at
you.
that. I don't really give a shit. Like whatever they give me is what I deal with. That's what I was telling. I don't really have a preference. My wife hates blue cheese.
I think down south ranch is more of a big
Ranch
thing.
right
Yeah.
there. Cherie.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Team
is.
ranch. Two team
I'm
ranches.
I'm team blue cheese, man.
I
All
like
day.
the ranch. I don't hate the blue cheese, but I think if I had like to choose, I would probably go ranch.
It's got to be dry rub too. Dry rub.
Yeah,
Oh,
dry
you're
rub.
a dry rub guy?
Oh yeah, that's how you do barbecue, man. Real
Some lemon pepper?
barbecue is no barbecue sauce, all
I like
dry
that
rub.
wet barbecue sauce.
Lemon pepper, dry rub,
I see
lemon
a
pepper.
lot of ranch.
Yes. Oh,
Lot of ranch in the
ranch
chat.
in it. Wow.
But Jeff Burton is team obvious blue cheese with cars.
Cars
Guy
is no
Geary.
blue cheese.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
aren't?
No,
You're
I don't.
not. You don't do
Cars-
any dip.
Cars
Fuck
is
a
one of
condiment.
those. Cars is one of those crazy texture eaters that if it's yeah.
I know it's true. Like I got some serious food issues that could be a whole show in and of itself. Food textures mess me up. Like I don't eat it if it's green unless it's a Skittle or a Mike and Ike, right? Like that's just the way I roll.
Is it blue cheese dressing ranch,
Blue
but with blue cheese in it?
No.
Steve Tabin's asking.
Totally different taste.
Ranch all the way. The
everybody
chat room is definitely on the ranch side. Just letting you know. So let us know. Put it in the YouTube. Next week we'll have the results. Are you blue cheese, team blue cheese, team ranch, or are you in the middle, or are you team nerd? No dip. Just straight up
We have
spice.
to put a Twitter poll on this.
I've never showed up with my own condiments at a wing place. Though.
If you
I'm
have,
now placing
let
my
us
wing
know.
order for tomorrow at lunch because of you folks. So thank you for that. Let me take care of
I
this.
blame Angelo. This
No,
guy's
no,
becoming
no.
a star on this network. Anyway, I want to shout out Mark Schofield for coming on. I mean, great guest, great person, great human being. Those are the types of people I just enjoy, and he knows the game. Just great stuff. I want to thank you, Cool Kennedy. I did it right. Look at that. Right there, for coming on, showing your face to the fans. Where can they find you, Cool Kennedy? Some music. I know you just did a beat tape and some beats. Where can they find you?
On all those major platforms, Cool Kennedy, just how you see below. Cool, how you spell it, Kennedy like the president. And just look me up. CK Icebox Labs, but I could put it in the video after.
Put it in there.
Yeah, because it's spelled a little different. But yeah, I'll share them on my Twitter handle and all that in the comments.
Just great stuff. Follow him. Let him know that you love him, that you heard him here. We got a lot of ideas moving forward. Obviously, we're getting to the off season on this network. Claudio had to find out there is no motherfucking off season, Claudio. We still go every Wednesday.
My wife said the same thing. She's like, "You're still doing the show."
Season ending. Claude's like, "Well, real guys, see you guys in September."
True story.
Hey, you guys are trying to get me in to do like another day now too, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
It's a draft show, patron only draft show. Cars, you're big time.
Oh boy.
You and Barlissimo is worth the price of admission, man.
Cars versus George.
Cars versus George, like UFC, but England versus America. Imagine we get
come in like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, then
we get you in
the
Apollo Creed.
Nobody wants to see that. I can guarantee nobody wants to see that.
You got to do a British accent, and he's got to do an American accent. We'll see what.
Don't listen to Claudio. His idea is dumb already.
It's great.
What are you talking about? Let cars be cars.
I do the whiter than white, like Clorox bleach accent. That's all I've got. That's all I work through. That's all we get.
Listen, tonight was a great show. Like I said, follow Cool Kennedy. I want to shout out my boy Ray Tronics at Raytronics for making that super bad graphic for the network. He's a super fan of the network. So right here, super bad. That could be a song title. We could take some of that.
Oh yeah,
that me and you together and rap about pace and the fucking picks and the miss and the shit.
That one's got to be like a trap turn up song though. Super
yeah.
It's got to be something
I've never
live.
done a trap song, and I'm ready to do it about Superbad. So look at this, 3 song ideas just on the show. Shayne's favorite shit. You gotta love it.
Big plays are nice.
Yes, they are, Coach. I want to shout out my boy Rashad Whitfield tonight for calming me down, letting me know. I didn't even go to fucking Facebook and said I had a source, Shayne. I just shared it with you.
Maybe they'll talk about that overnight next week.
Yeah, maybe they could talk about that. Exactly. I want to shout out you guys, Cars, Claudio, Angelo, like I said, Shayne, all the hard work. I want to shout out my boy Sean Sierra from Maya and Sierra in the Morning. My boy Ivan over there. You guys have been nothing but love. JJ Stankovitz, obviously got let go by NBC Chicago.
Yeah, check out his pod that he just did with Moon Mullen. Real good stuff. Moon's battling pancreatic cancer. It was
really? I didn't hear it. Can you send me that link?
Yeah.
Maybe we can share it from our
definitely Twitter. Bears fans should all check it out. Moon's been around the beat for a long time.
Yeah.
Good dude. And I had no idea that he was dealing with that. I mean, he was here and then he was gone, but it's
true.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Totally. That's awesome that you added that. I didn't even know about it, so I wanted to make sure. JJ is a friend of the network, friend of the show, and I'm going to check that out tomorrow, honestly. Yep. You guys in the chat, you guys have been on fire tonight. Over 285 people listening live. I know not everybody can get there every Wednesday night, Claudio. At what time? Claudia?
This guy's asked this question like 1,000 times. Can you just answer it, please?
Oh my God!
Real quick.
I'm teasing for next week's show.
I
He's
know,
gonna
but
have to tune in.
Putting an arrow saying, "Look up."
Oh my God!
Next week.
Next week we'll talk receivers.
Next week we will.
I promise you. I want to keep that conversation because then it'll be another hour and Shayne will get mad at me.
Another
I'll
break.
hear about it tomorrow. Listen, you guys in the chat tonight have been phenomenal. Ryan, I promise you next week I'll shout you out. Ryan 1462 and 2. Shout you out next week, I promise, and I'll break it down. I'll have tape. My boy Barlissimo shouting you out. Proud to have you on the network. I want to thank you for all of the hard work and the cut-ups. You're helping me so much preparing. Alex Acevedo, the swag people. You guys are tremendous. Alex with the real quick stuff. And he actually helped cut the intro this week because I was under the weather. I just didn't have time to pull clips and everything. So when your team steps up in the pocket and delivers, that means a lot. Logan Frost, Bear Truth 9, Cherie, Cameron Beige, Richard Gordon. Where's Jeff Burton, Carr's #1 fan? Hector, you guys are in the chat. I want to thank Mikey T, Zach Sullivan. I need a new clock, Sully. Josh E. Love you for life, that guy, Josh E. Talk about 100 crew. My boy Cal Abdullah, always bringing it. I want to see the people that share this stuff, that go out of their way and say, hey, check this out. I love those guys. Facebook user friend, Shayne. Shayne's favorite when he sees a Facebook user. Gary Williams. And my last shout out, Damien, Hampshire. I said everybody. Cameron, what's it called? Greg Braggs in the stands.
Don't ever shout him out. No, I am blocking that and revoking that shout out.
Blocked
Forget
and
that
revoked.
guy.
Blocked and revoked. Blocked and revoked, Greg. But I still love you, Greg. Even
Just don't that tell is Greg. Not what you say.
Don't tell anybody. Don't tell Greg who our next week's guest is because he'll try to schedule.
Oh my God, that's so true. We're having Jake. Jake is on. Jakey's on next week.
We should bring Jake.
If I could say one more thing, and this before I forget.
Yes.
If there are any current Bears watching, you say you got them on lock. There's people watching, they got their ears out listening, right?
Yeah.
I feel like this offseason, this offseason is going to be 80% mental, 40% physical on purpose, like the Little Giants, where it's like, I feel like Nagy needs to go out on a mission to find himself with a shaman. Like you need to go out into the desert. Yes. You know what I mean? Like this is a rebuilding year to that level. It's spiritual. If he wants to be successful, and if you guys could in any way organize a retreat, if you can, without being safe, you know what I mean, COVID and all that. If there's somewhere you guys can connect mentally, that's going to be the key. No matter who's on the team, no matter who has on the jersey, you know what I mean. Like football is mental, so we have to get over this hump, no matter who's laced up. You know what I mean. So respect to anybody that's listening. That's a Bear, a real, on the team. That's what it is.
They are listening.
Funny you should bring that up because Phil and I have plans to send Claude on a sabbatical to the desert at some point. So.
Dude, I'm ready. Let's go.
Find yourself.
Yeah.
I love Greg Bragg's cars. So me and
you
will
are
fight
pathetic.
I do. I can't help it. He was Angelo before Angelo.
Yeah.
I love Greg though. My last shout out goes to this guy, special, serious now shout out. I ask fans sometimes to put positive energy, whether that be in prayer or whether that be in whoever you believe or what you believe. I ask you to do this for this guy who's going through a very serious situation with his kidneys. I know he's going to have a blood transfusion this Saturday, I believe. He's already had to deal with one once before. A friend of ours, Alberto Valdez, I don't know if he's still. I know he was here.
Yeah,
He
he
told
was.
me, listen, I just became a patron. How do I? And I'm in the middle of the show, so I couldn't. He found his way, but you know, in life, things are very, 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 you know, tenuous at best for anybody. And life is not, a given, and it's a gift. So it's so imperative that prayers or positivity be sent, because I believe in that, and this network believes in that. And Alberto is a fan of the network, a huge Chicago Bears fan. In fact, he runs Chicago Bears Fan Forever on Facebook. You can go over there, and I know he's very fucking proud of that, and he should be. How many people go there and share their Bears thoughts and their Bears fandom. He's done a lot of good things, and hopefully we can help this guy transcend this terrible situation, him and his family. I know he's got children, and it's been a very rough road. So shout out to you, Alberto. We're thinking of you. I wanted to bring him on the show just to introduce him to the 100 crew, because he's big and he's a big fan of what we do. And Shayne and I had full intentions during the season to just do an interview with him to tell his story, but he's been dealing with this stuff with his sickness and everything. So every time we've tried to schedule something, something's come up. So we're going to do our best to get him on this show so he can tell his story about why he loves the Bears, what he's going through. And you never know who's watching. Somebody, a doctor, Shayne's fucking pediatrician watches the show. He's like, wait a second, you're the smartest man. This is a true story.
Couldn't believe it. Yeah, when I moved here, yeah, I was like, what? So weird.
I go places and my wife's like, holy fuck, this dude came up. It's like, draft Dr. Phil. I know that shit. Claudio witnessed it in Chicago. It's amazing what we're building here, what we're doing. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of you guys. I'll end the show with this. I love you, Alberto. I'm thinking of you. My family is. God bless you. And now we're going to play a little Angelo to get us out of here. And nobody has a final thought, right, Shayne? Everything's good to go.
Okay, let me have 36.
36. You could split it up for drink flavors.
All right.
There he is.
All right.
That's a lot of room.
Hi, everybody.
You sure you
We're here at Sliders with my friend Coach Phil and his two boys, Davey and Devin. And I'm going to order my beautiful wings.
Oh, it cuts off. It cuts off. I thought it played the whole thing. Anyway, God bless you. Always subscribe. Become a patron. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We might be back next week. It's going to be exciting. Breaking news. And if there is a trade on Friday, we'll be live Friday night. God bless you.
This has been a Shy City Sports presentation and a Tape Never Lies Network production. Keeping it 100. Thanks for tuning in to the Tape Never Lies Network.